Gambit Chads, everything has its life cycle. We all know what happened to the Stafford Gambit, where now everybody knows it. That's the problem. However, there is another opening. The Busch-Gass Gambit, and if you check, since I made the original Busch-Gass Gambit video, the number of games in the database has spiked like crazy. It's continuing to spike, however, still, a very low proportion of chess players, I would wager, know what to do against it. And even if so, there's no way out. It is super exciting. It is the new Stafford Gambit, and it is virtually undeclinable. You will see what I mean. You can get it every single time. Super, super cool stuff. You can check the videos on my channel, but this video here is actually me teaching CurlyQueen, my good friend Nicole, the Busch-Gass Gambit from scratch, so you can learn along with us as we banter and such as well. And at the very end, there's a test she takes. You'll see how well she does. You'll see if you can do better as you test along after having watched the video. And really, my favorite part of this video is working with Nicole and how she starts off like thinking the Busch-Gass Gambit is really quite funny, but as we show more and more and more lines, she really becomes imbued with the Gambit spirit, loves the Busch-Gass Gambit, wants to learn as much as she can about it, and I hope that will be the case with you guys as well as we show all of this awesome stuff so you guys can crush your opponents with this as well. Take care and enjoy.
William Grave, the Gambit man, takes his seat at the board. E4, E5, Knight F3, Bishop C5. The Busch-Gass Gambit on the board. On with the Gambit classes. Hero Pod unlocked.
Hello.
Hello, I am the Gambit Man. We are live with CurlyQueen for some Gambit lessons. Isn't that right?
Yep, we're gonna be learning gambits. This is Will, aka Gambit Man.
Hello.
He's an FM, so he definitely knows way more than I do.
CurlyQueen, are you excited to learn?
Oh yeah, big time. I haven't learned theory in the past 2 or 3 years, probably.
Okay, well, that streak will continue. We will not be learning legitimate theory today.
Well,
Instead,
it's probably better than what I do know.
what do you know about the Busch-Gass Gambit?
The Busch-Gass Gambit?
Yes.
Absolutely nothing.
Have you heard of it?
Nope.
But that's a good thing,
It just
right?
sounds like I'm just imagining bushes
Okay.
and gas machines.
But that's exactly where its strength lies, right? Nobody knows it.
Okay, good.
And I mean, it's hard to overstate, I think, the value in surprising your opponent about immediately taking them into something that they don't know rather than, rattling off 20 moves of stockfish prep or whatever. Something that you're in preparation for, even at the expense of our little friend the eval bar over here. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Wait, it says, hold on, this is the gambit for black, right?
Yeah, it's for black.
This looks nice. This looks like a good position. Do you think 2000s would fall for this?
Yes. I think GMs have
Really?
fallen for it.
Okay,
If you
I'm
check my
excited.
YouTube channel.
Can't
Um,
say I did that.
but okay, in classical time controls, maybe it's a little bit different, but it's quite scary. It's quite scary stuff. Are you ready?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
I don't know if I am ready, but I'm ready.
All right. You ready to repeat after me?
Cheese.
With the powers of Busch and of Gas,
With the powers of Bush and of gas,
I will destroy my opponents fast.
I will destroy my opponent fast.
All right, you are
That's a
ready.
good one. You made that up.
I made that up literally like about 5 minutes ago. No, I'm kidding. It's an ancient ritual of invoking the powers of Busch and of Gas. All right, here we
Right.
are. Here we are in this position. Yes.
Yes.
All right. The move here. Do you know?
Knight c6.
Okay. The move that we are
I'm
going to
guessing
be,
it's like F5 or something.
but you've seen F5. That's like the Latvian Gambit, right?
I don't know Gambits. No, I haven't seen it.
Lev Zilberman's plays maybe this one, right?
Uh,
Um, what's up, Ergo Proxy? The move here is a developing move, but not protecting this pawn. It is bishop to c5. And
F5.
this is very fun stuff. A lot of people take the pawn, but actually the most common move is bishop c4. And there's a couple other things we're going to touch on, like Scotch players who play d4, and like Joko piano players who maybe want to play c3 and hit our bishop fast. But it's already
Okay.
literally on move 2. You've taken probably anybody in the world out of prep, right?
An engine says point 0.1, so it's not even that bad.
It'll get worse. Don't worry.
Okay.
Which would you like to start on? Would you like to start on taking the pawn? Would you like to start on bishop c4 or d4 or c3?
Um, I know personally as white, I wouldn't take on e5
You
because
wouldn't take
I'd be
it?
like, whoa, my opponent's. I wouldn't. I'd be like, my opponent has this prepped and I'm going to get mated in 5 moves. So
Mm-hmm.
I play c3, but I'm curious to see what knight takes e5. What's the T?
Chat, are you able to hear Curly clearly? Let me know. Someone messaged that maybe it's a little difficult to hear. Oh,
Oh, so
also,
hard to
hang
hear.
on. I will enable my oops. I will enable my chat box. 1 second.
And guys, let me know if you can hear me and Will. Someone said F5 is the James West stuff.
All right, we're gonna put a
I've
chat
played James
box.
West quite a few times.
All right, cool. We got our chat box there. Everything's good. Okay,
You
so
can hear?
yeah, I think we're all good. All right,
Okay, cool.
so here I think we're gonna touch on actually d4 first because a lot of people who are just Scotch players, right, who just like knight c6, defend the pawn, and they play d4, right? So a lot of people who are Scotch players probably won't see a difference and will play d4 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually how you can get a lot of quick wins because the difference here between playing knight if you play knight c6, we actually transpose into in this position, right? We play bishop c5. This is very common, right?
Right.
However,
I play
we
C5, but
you play.
like I play Sicilian, so I never get into positions
Oh,
like
okay,
this.
but
But
like if you're a
yeah,
Scotch player, like you might expect knight c6, like putting yourself in the shoes of
yeah,
white, right? You might expect
yeah.
knight c6, and now you're back into something you're familiar with, right? Like this doesn't look too
Mm-hmm.
dangerous. So, but there's a big difference here, and we're gonna play knight f6, and the big difference is that we're
Okay.
very close to castling, right? We're one move closer to castling than if we'd started with like a queenside move, right?
Right.
And so e5 here will actually, I think, just drop the pawn pretty quickly after queen e7. Queen e7 having no downside, doesn't block in the bishop, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they protect it, and I can kind of just win that pawn pretty easily.
And what if they go like Queen E2? That's probably terrible because they can't get their bishop out.
It's also terrible because it was protecting the knight.
That's also a thing.
Yeah, so this is it's a tough situation for them. So e5 is off the table. Bishop d3 is off the table for the same reason, right? It can't block the queen. So knight c3, and we are going to castle at least 2 moves earlier than white, even though we're playing black, right?
Nice.
And our next move, what's our next move? Almost no matter what.
Rook E8.
Rook e8, absolutely. And all of a sudden, like it's almost hard to recommend a move for white here. What would you play for if you were white? Like maybe it doesn't look so bad, but like, what would you like? Give me a
If
move.
I were white,
Hmm.
um, maybe like I want to get my light squared bishop out.
Sure.
So maybe bishop. Actually, knight B3.
Knight b3. Okay, that's playable. I'll go here. So knight
Yeah.
b3, you were attacking my bishop, right? So I'm gonna go
Yep. And
bishop
then maybe
b4.
bishop D3.
Bishop d3 makes sense. So what can I do here? I have d5 or I have rook e8. I'll yeah, let me play rook to e8.
Yeah. I mean,
And the issue is if you
I could
place,
castle
you could castle
and give
and
up
give
the
the
pawn.
pawn, right? You could. I
Yeah.
think my instinct is if black just plays here like d5 next turn, that you might have just almost nothing for it, right?
Yeah, I guess. Two bishops.
You have two bishops, but I guess like d5, like black one shouldn't have any issue developing here. I also had the interesting idea
I guess
maybe.
for
Hmm?
yeah, I guess there for white they could play like c4 and then bishop b2 before you play d5.
That's a good idea actually. c4 against d5 maybe. Bishop can come here,
Yeah, and then bishop b2.
right? Yeah, I'll probably play your d5 anyway. Honestly, takes queen takes. My knight is saving my queen's life for a moment. And we're looking good.
Yeah.
I think the other interesting thing we had, well, the other thing I want to point out here, right, is if you keep protecting the pawn, d5 is very strong, right? This is really quite annoying. And the other interesting idea that might be even better is d5 first. Takes rook e8, right? Well, takes, okay, it's hard to recommend
Yeah.
something other than takes, right?
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
Check. e3, right? And now knight takes d5, taking advantage of maybe both these pins this knight is hitting.
Sounds really bad for white.
Right, and it's because like the king's still in the center, right? With rook e8, with d5, like they're moved farther from castling, right? And if they played something natural, then rook e8, right, attacking the pawn, like you protect the pawn somehow. d5 here is now like, well, okay, this is maybe like the worst possible scenario, but in a lot of these instances, we're going to be trying to win this pawn. So it's very straightforward against people who try to force a Scotch transposition, right? We just play Nf6. We're going to castle. And honestly, like these are going to be your next two moves, almost no matter what.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Can you show this line from the first move?
Yeah,
I can
absolutely.
remember in my head.
So e4, e5. Nf3, they attack the pawn. We ignore it. And I'm very excited to get to this, right? Because it is Stockfish is saying it's just a pawn. You can see the eval bar spike here. d4,
Yeah.
forcing a Scotch, but instead of transposing, we play af6, and castling comes much quicker than theirs, right? So castles, and now to really just rook e8 and d5. And there's not too much you have to remember other than try to get the pawn
What if
and get their king. Yeah.
what if instead of knight c3 they play e5 right away?
If instead of that we play queen e7, right?
Okay.
With a pin here, can't take our knight, so we're attacking the pawn.
Yeah,
And it's just d6 next turn, yeah. Yeah, and queen e2, which would counter the pin, is impossible for them because the queen needs to protect. Exactly. Good. Our favorite Busch-Gass. So that's just how that covers d4. So there's a couple other things they can do, and bishop c4 is going to be the most common move, and we'll get to that. A lot of people are indeed scared of taking the pawn in spite of that being Stockfish's recommendation, but c3. So c3, so what does this relate to that we know, maybe? So knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, these are also like, this has been studied since the dawn of time, pretty much, right? This is a very common position. c3, the idea is
The
either...
Coco piano.
Yeah, exactly. Gioco Pianissimo or Gioco Piano, right?
Yeah, I just call it the Italian.
The Italian, yeah. So like the issue here, so okay, there's a lot of theory here after d4 takes check, right? But this is not what we're doing. So the issue here is that d4 might come like really quickly, right? Like if we now protect our pawn or something here, then after d4, okay, takes. Well, that's already a very favorable pawn trade for white. Trade off this pawn, which is doing nothing but supporting. Oops, sorry. But supporting, and also frees the square.
You can't be slow here.
Exactly, we can't be slow. d4 is going to be very annoying. So, what do you think?
People finish last.
That's true in races, and in chess. So, what do we want to do here?
What if we play d5?
Yeah, there we go. d5, hit him first. Yeah, that was completely right.
Oh, nice.
So white here has like a couple moves. Knight takes e5 is not particularly common, but pawn takes and d4 are most common. d4 is actually not a good move. D4 is not a good move.
Knight takes.
Knight takes, we can get to this. It's rather rare. After takes here, it's interesting. I faced this a couple times where people, well, so a couple people have tried to take this pawn anyway. But basically, I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong about this. But when you play c3 and then you don't play d4, right? The pawn starts to look incredibly stupid here. Like here, like it's like, oh, c3 makes a lot of sense, right? Like, oh, we're playing d4, that'll look good. But now suddenly, like when the pawn's here, and we'll get to this in a couple other Busch-Gass lines, but when the pawn's here and there's no d4, or d4 is actually still playable here, and it's equal either after en passant or bishop d6, although I think, you know, we're on stream, so we're obligated to en passant. We're obligated,
Do you
yes.
want to explain en passant?
I have a lot of experience explaining en passant. Um, right, so this is really just equal, yeah?
Yeah.
And if they don't do that, suddenly this looks like just so incredibly stupid, blocking in their pieces just all over the place, right?
Right.
Meme has come back. I am the en passant man. If anybody needs if anybody needs en passant over explained, please hit me up. So d5. Okay, so knight takes e5. I guess there's a couple things here. It's also a little bit risky. I think like a lot of bishop moves could fall victim to maybe some hits here and here. Right?
Yeah, that's tough.
So, although, I mean, this isn't inherently losing for white or anything. Yeah, this I faced actually once. I almost not remembering. Check
You
and
play
takes.
this in tournaments. You play this over the board.
I play this in Tale of Tuesdays. I've yet to really
Okay.
play it in a rated game. And knight f6 here. Queen's gotta like stay tethered to this knight. So something ugly. And then castles. Rook's coming here. I mean, this is just the sort of thing I'd rather be black, right?
Definitely.
I mean, like this is just, these are just juicy stuff for the rook.
I'm surprised the engine says. Does it really say 0.2 for white, or is it just lagging?
I'm getting minus 0.5 after this idea of
Okay, so
knight
mine's just
back to
lagging.
e3.
Yeah, now I see it. Now I see it.
It's the only way for them to hold together. Otherwise, queen takes e4 was already an error. It's takes, bishop takes. You can get a lot of compensation in a couple lines. Oh yeah, this is the one I've played before, and I've given up all these pawns and castled, and I've won a Titled Tuesday game like this. Like bishop d6 and the attack over here. It was kind of interesting. But regardless, knight takes e5.
They're too busy.
Yeah. Regardless, knight takes e5. I mean, not a huge threat because it's like if you played c3, like you probably are gonna want to play d4, or else, like I said, it look
So what's the
it's
main move?
so e takes and d4. So let's talk about d4 first because it's actually worse. So we take here, right? And then c takes, and I've gotten this endgame. So e takes is actually better, but it's just gonna transpose into something else. But c takes, and now here. So what do you think here?
What do I think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you could try d takes e.
What do you think about this endgame? After take, so they need to get their pawn back, right? So they'll take.
Pawns.
Mm-hmm.
Queen takes, f takes.
All right, so that was all pretty much forced, right? We traded everything.
Yeah, and then c5 is kind of deep into my land.
It is, and it's probably too deep into your land, right? For its own good.
Yeah.
The move of the engine here. Yeah, it's actually quite good for black. Oops, I turned off the eval bar. It's quite good for black. And yeah, the bishop pair, not very valuable here because black's structure is just much more intact. And white's already moved their king, which maybe like shouldn't really matter in the end game, but there's a lot of pieces, and it's much better to just like stay castled rather than like fall victim to checks, right?
Right.
Or here, or like here as well. The move here, the engine, is actually quite interesting. Sorry? It's the only move I know in this end game.
I guess it would just be bishop e6.
Yeah, bishop e6 is possible, but actually, what would you say white's next move is, if white can move again?
Bishop f4.
Yeah, right? Bishop f4 is kind of annoying to defend this.
Yeah.
You don't really want to play c6, the knight might get there.
True. This is true.
Hmm. So what would be the best way to counter bishop f4? Like if you could imagine something.
Mm, To counter bishop. Is it? No, it can't be.
Like if it were like bug house, what piece would you want to put where after bishop f4?
I put the knight on e6.
Good, good. E6. Okay, well our knights can't get to E6, right? What's the other, what other square would be
Right.
good?
For the knight?
Yeah.
Well, I guess like I attacked the pawn on c5, but I feel like knight d7 is bad.
No, no, stick with the bug house.
Oh, bug house, bug house.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you basically
maybe.
got it with E6.
Yeah, I don't know what else.
I mean, you basically got it. The idea of hitting the bishop and protecting.
Yeah,
Not E6, but
there's more with the knight.
there's like one other square that does the same
Oh, like
idea.
knight d5. Okay,
Yeah,
knight d5.
right. Just because we can't get to E6, right? Otherwise,
Yes.
E6. Okay, yeah, probably better actually. We can hit this pawn as well. But yeah, knight
So I
on
guess we go
D5.
knight f6.
Right. The move's actually knight E7. But yes.
Okay.
But yeah, bishop f4 would now not be a good move because of knight d5. And knight d5 is like a great square in general. The pawn has gone too far to ever remove it. And we hit the bishop, protect the pawn.
Mhm.
So yeah, knight e7, I mean, and you could just kind of finish development almost any way. And your position's just so solid, right?
I
And they
like
can't
how we're
really get
stopping
this.
all of White's plans.
Yeah. Yeah, knight e7, very deep move. Also, right? Like rook g1 does nothing here, right? Knight g6, or even just castles, right?
Yeah.
I guess actually, yeah, that's probably it, right? Knight f6. This would be annoying if you have knight
There's
f5 or knight
h6.
g6, that would be great. But otherwise, this is actually kind of annoying, right? Knight h5, I guess.
Right. So actually, instead of rook
That's
after rook
probably
g1,
yeah. You gotta go like here, right?
you just yeah.
But like
Then
knight e7 would be better for that reason, right?
because after rook g1, g6, there's no like bishop g5 and the knight is hanging.
Right. And also, we could just castle without worrying about
Yeah.
this. This is just it. Just the knight bishop gets deflected
Oh,
immediately,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess that's the reason, if I have to say.
Or even knight f5.
Yeah, or knight f5, exactly. Here, knight f5, hit the bishop, protect the pawn, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but after knight e7, everything's quite solid here, so this is good. So this is not a good line for white, actually. And what they should do after d5, right? Does that make sense? d4. A lot of people go into this take. I mean, it just like kind of happens after c3. It's just like,
It
oh,
looks
this is
natural.
yeah, it looks natural, right? Okay, you play d4. Oh, okay, we got this end game, right? But it's a very solid end game that you can absolutely win. And wait, oops. This certainly had a disadvantage there. So after c3 and d5, they should take it, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and so here there's a couple options. And I'll talk about them. So e4 looks really appealing just because like the knight is kind of short on squares. Unfortunately, I think there's queen a4 check, which will just eliminate that pawn. So that's not working. Queen takes d5.
Two pawns down in a gambit.
Yeah,
Or
queen takes
can be.
d5 is possible. But after d4 here, white is completely fine. And anybody would play d4, right?
Yeah.
Take, knights coming to c3, and they'll castle without much issue. So to
Mhm.
keep this quite compelling, I play this move knight to f6. You don't have to be good in the endgame. You just have to be better than your opponent, and nobody's good in the endgame.
I definitely need to improve my endgame. I
Yeah,
get so I'm not confident when I go into the endgame. There was one time I was playing in FM, I forgot his name, and I'm up a pawn in the endgame, perfect pawn structure, nothing's wrong, and he offers me a draw, and I just accept.
just because you didn't
And
want to
I'm like,
play.
just because I know that I don't want to play the endgame, especially against an FM.
If I may recommend a book of your people,
My
Shereshevsky.
people,
Shereshevsky's strategy of the endgame.
I
Um,
have that.
you have that?
I just don't read it. I have it. I
Oh,
can't
that's
read
the
it.
issue. Okay. I was like, how's your endgame still bad and you had it? But then you said the issue.
I
um,
thought that if I buy it, that would automatically make me better at endgames because it's in my room. So it's
right.
kind of
By like
there's
osmosis, it would
teleport.
infuse into
Yep.
you.
But it
Um,
didn't happen.
that's unfortunate. No, it helped me so much. I should share these games. But at World Open in Philly, I didn't play. I didn't have that good a tournament, but I actually still picked up 3 whole U.S. or CF points. Um, because I outplayed my opponents. They were low rated, but I can only say 2 dead equal end games. One where I was much worse. And I won all 3 of those games. So
Mhm.
that helped a lot. I transformed from Gambit Man to Endgame Man. But
We
yeah, I
have
think
shapeshifters on this trade.
right. I think like also like that game against Davis where it was just like I had a rook, bishop, and just like 7 pawns each. But it was just like he thought it was dead drawn, and at a couple points he just like moved his rook, or at one point he just moved his rook back and forth. But there's really just like so much fight left in any position that's equal to just like press and press and press and just like gradually improve. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I don't know. I maximized my
Yeah.
position. That's one of the games I'm most proud of that I've maybe ever played because that was like, wow, I read something in a
Seriously.
book and like I actually like it's like sometimes when you study chess, like you read like you're reading it in a book of just like this Russian guy wrote this in the 80s and it's poorly translated and it's like is this actually making me better at chess? But then like after that, I was just like, wow, maybe that actually made me better at chess. Um, the old one or the new
Okay.
one? I think it's the new one is the one I have of Shereshevsky. Um, yeah. Pushing to be problem with Busch-Gas Gambit is that people don't accept and transform the game into such a boring Italian. Don't worry, I have something to prevent that as well, and to attack them nonetheless. I'm excited to get to all of that. There is no escape. There is no escape. We're currently looking at Busch-Gas denying lines where they deny the gambit, and we're still gonna get them there. So there's really just no way out. People think they dodge theory by doing this. They do not. They do
You can
not.
deny all you want, but Bush gas by force.
Busch-Gas by force. Yes, ma'am. All right, knight to f6 here. So knight to f6, we're just playing
It's
a
after
developing
he
move.
takes D.
This is after he takes d.
Yeah.
Sorry, he takes d, knight to f6, so that leaves white with a couple options. I have faced bishop to b5 check also, and I'll get to that. Bishop to b5 check, okay. What I played is just c6, which really solidifies the gambit. Now they've taken 2 pawns before we take one. And after bishop to e2,
Wait.
sorry, that was fast. Bishop to
Oh yeah.
b5 check, right?
We're giving up
c6,
another pawn.
we're giving up, well okay, now we're down one, right?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
so the bishop is hit, bishop e2, e4. And this is really just a situation where this just looks so bad. And the knight just doesn't really have a great square at the moment. I think part of the issue here is like knight e5. We have queen d5 and this will hang, if I recall. I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong. After en passant. But yeah, in that game, it was from one of my most recent Tell Tuesdays, they played here knight d4, and I'm just better after this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
So
otherwise,
let's
like,
attack your queen.
yeah. I mean, this is quite. I mean, it's just also very difficult to finish your queenside development. White's queenside development will be severely lacking in almost all Busch-Gas lines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the
My
idea.
old chess coach
Hmm?
would call when all the pieces were still set up in their original squares. He'd say a Russian phrase called "Baishki Bayu,"
Okay.
which means which means like sleepy time because they're just sleeping the
Sleepy
entire
time.
time.
I had it was I think Artur Yusupov who told me like one time in a game I like had like a knight attacked and like it had no choice but to go knight b1 or something or some equivalent to this. And he told me after
Yeah,
like if you move your pieces back to your starting squares, it's like you're resigning, like you're resetting the board back
it
to
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Um, so yeah. But yeah, here, okay, after e4, like, if the knight, in general, when knights are attacked from these spots, if they don't have access to, like, this square, the square the pawn was, like, just controlling, right? Then they might not have a good square at all. And very often, like, g1 is forced. You know, if you, I don't know if you noticed that, because, like, here, this gets, like,
It's
trapped.
just so hard to play knight g1.
It's so hard to
It's
play knight g1.
against
Yeah.
it's against your innate chess abilities.
Exactly, exactly. And so here, there's a pattern of like if the bishop is here and the knight's here, like you want to play d4, right? To like counter hit this, and then you might be
Mm-hmm.
fine. But this is an issue where the bishop is placed very badly, and so white would be losing a piece here.
Yep.
But
Well,
very
what if bishop takes d1, just f takes g2?
bishop. Sorry.
Like d4. Oh, never
Oh,
mind.
white's losing a piece because the bishop's here. If the bishop is here,
Yeah.
white would be totally fine, actually. Right?
Yeah.
This Brooklyn variation.
Right.
I don't know what the Brooklyn variation is. But
I
yeah,
should know what the Brooklyn variation is.
we always should. Uh, what was I gonna say? So yeah, here, so the moves here are d4 and a5 primarily, right? Otherwise, like we want to play e4 or just queen takes d5 and castle. So we play knight to f6 here. Knight takes e5 is the main move, really. And the order of your next two moves, a Brooklyn variation is back: e4, knight f6, e5, knight g8.
So offensive to Brooklyn. I don't like that.
That's brutal.
They should switch it to the Queen's variation. That
Nice.
sounds better.
The queen's variation. There's a few variations named after queens. But
Stick that one in there too.
not for that reason. So knight takes e5. The order of these next two moves almost don't matter. Whether it's castles or queen d5, because after queen d5, you can expect them to play d4, right? And then we castle. So here, it looks like white's kind of achieved everything. Because they have, this is solid, right? And they have a knight here that prevents them from like losing the game immediately. And they're up a pawn. Right? The issue for them is what most people blunder. It's like, what would you recommend if you were white here?
If I were white, um, try to castle.
Right?
Bishop d3.
Right.
Bishop c4 maybe.
Right. So as most people blunder, any bishop move is major blunder.
Yeah.
So right. So I think like literally bishop c4 is the most common move, followed by bishop d3, followed by bishop e2. So somehow almost nobody
That's exactly
sees.
what I said.
Right. So somehow almost nobody sees it. Right. You're just like, oh, which one should I
It's because
choose?
people are playing on autopilot and then they forget. They're not used to having the queen in the center on move, whatever move this is.
Right. Right.
Move 4.
So and there's no knight c3 to hit us, right? White does, and
Yeah.
if you have a couple moves here, suddenly like rook e8, and then like just pressure on this knight, right? White has two options. So white could, so okay, and any of these moves, white's doing terribly. If they take the bishop, then we take the knight, of course, and you'll have no issue getting your pawn back. Really, I think bishop e3 is not a good move because I think we're going right after that guy. Black here is at worst equal, I think. White has one very good move here. It's queen to f3. So queen to f3. So the queen was doing, God's work. Queen's variation, right? It was tying down g2, and it was hitting this knight, right? And suddenly, if well, it definitely needs to at least hit the knight because the bishop's hanging. If it doesn't, right? But if we kind of hold our queen here, then like after bishop e2, there's really not much here. So we actually don't really do that. We play here bishop back to d6, so that after queen takes d5, we can at least play knight takes d5. And then there's one line I have here. I'll enable notation. There's one interesting line I have here. Hang on one moment. I'm in the wrong study for this. I'll have to try and remember what it is.
It's a lot of lines.
There's a lot of lines. It's like ah yes yes yes. So it's bishop c4. Okay, I remember. It's bishop c4 hitting the knight, right? Bishop e6 protect castles, and now here we can remove the defender by playing takes and knight takes e3. Does that make sense? And
Knight takes e3.
right, and all of a sudden this bishop's hanging,
Yeah.
right? And now what do we got?
Wait, so castles, my board's a little delayed.
Oh, okay.
Castles takes, and then it's freezing up a little. Give it a sec.
No worries.
So it's on bishop takes e5 right now for me.
Okay.
D takes e5. Okay, D takes e5 just happened. Knight takes c3. Yep.
Right, and so now the bishop's hanging in this line. So after takes e6, we have check and recapture right here.
Check.
All right. So the check's
little
critical.
Intermezzo checks.
We love them.
What's that called? A Zwischenzug?
I thought. Oh no, wait. Is Zwischenjug intermezzo? I
Yeah,
feel like I
that's
should
what
know
I would
this.
say.
Okay, maybe. I feel like I should know.
Do
Um,
you know if it's a Zwischenzug or not?
for a while, every time I saw Zwischenjug, I thought it was Zugzwang because like, but
Yeah.
Zugzwang is actually spelled Zugzwang, right?
Zugzwang. Yeah. It is a German word.
I mean,
You're
yeah, they're
saying it
both.
sounds like a German word. It is German. I wonder what
But
the
like, I have no idea how to
origin of
pronounce
these words are.
the German etymology of them.
Yeah, why did we decide that we're gonna
We have no
just
equivalent in English for Zugzwang. We don't have any word that means like anything you do would be bad and you'd rather pass. Like you have no good
Zugzwang?
moves.
Yeah.
I guess, right?
I
And
don't
so I think I don't
I
know,
don't think we do.
we've borrowed words
English
from
doesn't have
various
a lot of
languages.
words.
English doesn't have a lot of words? Is that what you said?
No, I feel like we're lacking a ton of words. Sometimes I'll have to say
Really?
a word in Russian because there's no word for it in English.
Give me an example.
I can't do this off the back of my mind. I'll think of something and I'll tell you.
Okay. I think English has a lot of words, but um I mean, other languages combine like other languages have more, and so like we borrow them for like specific meanings also in chess. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, because we're borrowing words because we don't have words.
Okay. So Zwischenjug here by take removing the defender of this bishop so that we can take this pawn. It's a nice little trick. And in this position, black is completely fine. There's no knight here that could put us down a piece.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the fact that we have this check is of course critical, so we don't lose our knight. And in this position, black's actually better, so white's actually aired to get to this point. Schadenfreude, that's a good one. That's another one that's in the English lexicon.
Schadenfreude? What's that?
That's enjoying, like deriving pleasure out of someone's pain or humiliation.
Is that a chess term?
No, that's just like a normal. That's just like a
It's just
colloquial
weird.
term. Yeah. I mean, it's like not good. Like you probably shouldn't derive pleasure out of that. But yeah.
Mm.
Um. No, I mean there's a lot that we've borrowed, of course. But okay, in chess, I'm trying to think what else. Well, actually, I mean I can think of one, obviously, which is
Passat.
which is en passant. uh, okay, so in
I
this
don't think
line,
there's
so
other ones
this
in
is.
chess.
I mean, I feel like there's just so much that's come from Russian. Even if it's, I mean, obviously just like all the opening names. Like
Yeah.
Kalashnikov, Taimanov, Sveshnikov.
Sveshnikov.
Those are all similar lines. Oh, you pronounced it
Um,
much better than me. New haircut. Thank you. It's actually about like a couple weeks old, but I appreciate it. So here, yeah. So this was pretty much the best white could play. After he takes d5, we were playing knight to f6. They grabbed our pawn. Castles or queen takes d5. It really doesn't matter. d4 is gonna be played. Queen takes, and then queen f3 was the best move. After which, otherwise most other moves hang g2, and we're just gonna play like rook e8 and knight c6. Otherwise, taking the bishop. I mean, there's really not much you have to remember. Bishop e3. You can come grab that guy. Otherwise, take c5, right?
Well, yeah, it's being delayed again.
Really?
I'm on. Okay, queen takes d5, right? Queen
I could just
f3.
share screen if that
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
better.
Um, it's okay.
Okay,
I'd
let
have
me
to
let me know.
redo my.
Do you see
Yeah.
all my arrows and everything? Like when I
Yeah,
draw
yeah, I see
things?
there.
Cool. I like
Yeah.
making pretty patterns. Um, takes good. So then, yeah. So queen f3 was the best move. Bishop d6, and then there's just like this one line that I kind of know. I don't even think I've gotten this in a game. I don't think anyone's found queen f3. But then there's just like this nice trick here if white play continues to play the most natural moves, which is takes and knight takes. So it's like there's lots of tricks everywhere, even like to actually realize the advantage that white has according to the engine. It's like you need to find just some exceedingly difficult moves very often, right? Which is kind of the point of this, right? And so that's
Yeah.
exactly kind of what we're trying to hit. You know, we know that to surprise our opponent and to play something so tricky, we're gonna have to sacrifice in terms of Stockfish's number, but we're really can make that because everything else in chess has just been studied, right? Or they would have studied anything with good Stockfish number. But
Mm.
otherwise, like you can still make that just so difficult to actually get to that number.
Yeah, it's
You know
hard
what I
to
mean?
be precise when you don't have an engine.
Exactly, exactly. You're the kind of expose these like theory memorizers for you make them actually play chess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so knight f6. I mean, I shouldn't be talking. I memorize a lot of theory too, and we're literally going over theory right now. But
So do you think this is good when you're playing little kids?
so like I would play this in Blitz against anyone. I play this in Blitz, even rated Blitz at the Marshall, just
Mm.
because like to find these defenses just is so like in that time control is just so difficult. And Blitz, you're just kind of playing what makes sense, and here it's good because what makes sense often ends poorly, right? That's what we're trying to find.
Yeah, like bishop c4 back when the queen was on d4, d5.
Right, right. In longer time controls, I think still against lower rateds it could work. Although you would kind of be pushing the bounds about how high up this works. I am Noruski. How are you
I need to
doing?
try it out.
Yeah, go for it. Let us know. I'm willing to do it. You know, in game 25s with the Marshalls. Let's see what happens. YouTube, stay tuned.
Yeah.
Exposing them for the
Because
human that they are,
a
as you
lot
said
of
so beautifully. Thank you.
a lot of people my hair just got stuck. A lot of people that I play, you can tell that they've memorized the openings. So
Yes,
I feel
and
like this would be a nice with 2000. I think this would work. I need to try it out, but I think it
yeah,
would.
yeah. I mean, it's why I never play main lines, and it's why also if I see my opponent, like there was a couple times at World Open where I could just kind of tell, even though one told me after the game they were trying to hide it, I could tell that they were in preparation, right? Um, and they played like the French, which they don't typically play, and so I played something different than I usually played, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh my god!"
Mhm.
Right?
I have to think suddenly.
Yeah, yeah. Or like, like sometimes they pretend to think so that they're non-preparations that you keep doing what you normally do, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I want to stay out of my opponent's prep as much as possible. I think it's a huge advantage to know the position and they don't, right?
This is
Um,
why you're so paranoid about prep.
I'm very paranoid about prep. I know every single game of mine that went in the database. So what they might think that I do, and
Yeah, guys, you should see Will at tournaments. He literally, before a round, hides so that no one can see him to go for prep.
I have a couple hiding spots at that hotel. Yes. And we need to get to the playing hall 30 minutes before, which is when the pairings come out, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, trust no one. Okay, let's continue with this.
Anyways,
So, knight of six, we have here. So, other than knight takes e5, we have d4. And after e takes d4, takes and check, you can already note that this is going to transpose. I mean, it's rare to get this transposition, but if they play here d4 takes ed, like this, like ed would be strange here, right? As opposed to just recapturing, if
yeah.
that makes sense.
After d4, e takes d4,
E takes d5,
c
right?
takes.
So
Yeah.
here, right, we're gonna play knight f6. I mean, like we could take this, but here actually White's doing quite well. It's kind of a good pawn, like not easy to attack or anything, right? Nice space. So we're just gonna play here knight f6, and after they take here, we go check, and this position's just dead equal pretty much. Like castles, knight takes d5. It's not like dead equal, like it's lifeless though. Like this is it's a legit position where I think like the better chess player will win, and something like this and just whatever happens here because it's like okay, white has like the center pawn and like maybe more space and such. But if you're black, you can try and attack this, right? Hold a blockade. It's an isolated pawn, right? So hold a blockade, try to attack it. I mean, I've played this position many times, so I mean I think I like this. But yeah, so this can come out of so we play your d5. They take knight f6. If they don't go for this other pawn and play your d4, then we just swap, go check, and castles, and this pawn's not going anywhere, obviously. So, yeah, does that make sense?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right. So that part of it is pretty tame. So honestly, c3 is not a very threatening move. We really just need to go d5. Otherwise, I mean, there are some cool lines that I like after queen takes d5 with the knight here. I've gotten kind of some nice wins there. But otherwise, c3, I don't think my opponent's really ever gotten an advantage against me with it.
Okay, that's good to know because
Yeah.
C3 looks like it's the pretty
Yeah,
harsh
exactly.
move.
I think but you real like a lot of people play c3. I think especially in Title Tuesdays, but with c3, yeah, you really need d5. I think black's definitely worse if there's not d5 because this is good. But otherwise, like after we hit the center first, d4 becomes much less good, and the pawn's very stupid if you're not going d4.
Yeah.
So okay,
Wait, well, hold on. Let
yep,
me let me refresh this position, this board,
no worries, go for it.
because I don't know why it was good at first and then it just started lagging. So I want to refresh the live board. Sorry, please hold.
No worries. So yeah, I think this is good. I might post this whole thing to YouTube, but if you guys have any other questions or anything, but let me know. But I think this is good, just like a refresher. There's been some change in Busch-Gas theory since my original Busch-Gas Gambit video. I think this is good. It's just like a refresher about kind of like the main points. Because like now
You
I'm
opened up
teaching
the
it all
treasure
from now.
chest.
I guess so, yeah. No, I mean you can look like when I made that video and like I have the Lead Chess database open and just like the number of games there versus the number of games now, it's actually kind of crazy. So
Seriously?
it's pretty cool.
So
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
just started playing it more after you published
Not
the
everyone.
video?
I mean, well, like I asked you at the beginning, you hadn't even heard of it, right?
Yeah, I
So
haven't.
so it's like this is when you got to get in, because like it's like playing like the Stafford Gambit now. It's
Yeah.
like in this position, like knight c6 is now like literally like more common than d6, like in the Lead Chess database. You're not gonna find any Petrov player for white who doesn't know what to do against the Stafford. But a few years ago, at like the beginning of Rosen's videos, that was like okay, you could really surprise them and get some fun stuff. And so everything
I
has its life
fought with
cycle.
Stafford plenty times.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I remember. Please no Stafford chest thing.
Well,
But every
it's
time,
no longer like cool or like innovative, right? It's just like I mean I loved all of Rosen's videos so much. Like huge fan of him. But it's just like it just got so popular was the issue, right? So everything has its life cycle.
Even London system, I feel like
Oh my
before
God, yeah.
Magnus started playing it, wasn't that popular, and then now almost everyone plays the London.
Yeah. Again, I feel like Eric deserves a lot of credit there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, you're right. You are right. Uh yeah, everything and now okay, but like the London is I guess more sound. But yeah.
Definitely, I don't see if you don't have a lot of time to learn theory but want a solid position, then why not?
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean I think you're absolutely right. Although next gambit we'll learn is my London Crusher 9000.
Oh my god, that sounds like some Harry Potter wand.
I was going for more like a Dr. Doofenshmirtz evil
Oh, from
invention.
Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, an icon.
That one's that's gonna be an exciting one.
All right,
Talk
let's
about
talk.
how many gambits do you know?
So like, I mean, I like I know several, like a lot. I've come up with probably about 10 or 12. Um,
On your own?
yeah, yeah. Like a lot of
There's
them
no
don't have
grace.
names. A lot of them don't have names.
There's no
Like
grace next to a variation.
there's I don't know like there's a couple that like my viewers have called Grafe Gambit. Like for example, not to get too off track here, but C4A6, which I think is actually I mean if you give me an opportunity to hear me out, I think is actually quite legitimate. But the only Gambit part of it is knight C3, B5 takes like this line. But there's no
So
name
this
for
is
this.
like the Banco. This is like
It's
the Banco make.
like the Banco, except more bothersome for this poor knight, which can get chased everywhere.
Okay. That's
Um,
another time, another video.
another time. But there's no name for C4A6, much less the Gambit there, or even um, this innovation I made in the Budapest, or a couple other things. But yeah, it's fun stuff. I enjoy it. I mean, my goal is to break new ground, right? To innovate, to come up with new things.
I love
That's what I'm
that.
trying to
I
do.
support it.
Thank you. Okay, so we have here bishop c5. So we now need to get to knight takes and bishop c4, which are the two most common moves, yeah?
Yeah.
We've touched on d4 and we've touched on c3. So let's go to knight takes e5, actually. And so here we play knight c6, very Stafford-esque. We are trying to play d takes c6, which I actually call the Stafford capture. So
Just
there's
that.
yeah, playing. So, like, the rule, right, when you're choosing between pawns is take towards the center. Like, if something's captured on g6, like, 9 times out of 10, right, you're playing h takes g6 rather than f takes, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm. Yeah.
But I would say D and B is generally the exception to that. Like, it's very nice to open the bishop and the queen.
Agreed. Even
Big,
like G takes F6 in the there's like a Grand Prix variation there.
oh, yeah, when you're choosing between these pawns or something?
Yeah, you have to go G takes F6 and
Right.
oh
G take.
no, the Trompowski.
The
You have
Trompowski,
to go G takes
but both are
F6.
legitimate. Both.
I always do G takes F and
Okay,
then
I
go
actually play
F5.
E takes and C6. But both
Oh, because I go
both are
C5.
lines.
I go
Oh yeah, if you
C5
go
and
C5, yeah, you can't leave this pawn alone then, right? So
yeah.
he needs a friend. Yeah. But otherwise, in general, take towards the center shall be less to concern D and B. There we go. So D takes. Okay, well, there's actually a couple of other moves we can touch on here, including knight f3, which you'll get a lot, and knight d3 a little bit rarer. Let's actually get to them. So knight d3, there's really only one line to know here, and because I'm not gonna make it too extensive, because knight d3 is a bit rare. It's a very funny square for the knight, especially to get a knight on d3 on move 4 is kind of crazy. But it does, it's better than knight f3. I mean, the one advantage it has over knight f3 is that it tempos the bishop, right? So we need to go back. And then the order of these next moves doesn't really matter. You're playing here knight f6, bishop e2. If they play e5, it's playable, but I think queen e7 is fine for black. Otherwise, here bishop e2, castles, castles, right? Rook e8 hits the pawn, and the knight's very poorly placed, so bishop f3 is the only square to protect this, right? You don't have d3 or anything.
Yeah.
And now here is a second gambit that I really like. It's d5. And after takes to go knight d4, and it's remarkably well placed and very, very annoying to hit. And I really like this line. And the next thing you want to do if you're black is like bring this knight to e5. Or
Full attack the bishop at f3.
right, which suddenly like doesn't really have a square, almost, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because rook e1. Oh, rook e1. It is protected by this, but I think it's a blunder for some reason. Okay, yeah, we just play like bishop f5 here. So now, like, okay, c takes d3 we could force, after which this knight would really never have to move. And otherwise, I guess we're threatening. What are we threatening? Forgot to move again.
Rook takes e1.
So when knight takes, they might be okay, right?
Rook takes e1, knight
Oh,
takes.
so here's what we're threatening. So knight takes, and it says this forces g takes. Do you see why queen takes loses?
Queen takes, loses.
Mm-hmm.
No. Wait, let me think about this one. There you go, bishop takes d3.
Eliminating the defender of this rook. All right, so
Yeah.
trade is forced, right? They can hang on though. Queen takes. Now what?
But well, now you have queen e8 and then bishop takes f2.
Exactly, right? Very poor development, so the rook's not guarding the square, right? And now check and mate. Right?
Yeah.
Very good. So, yeah, so
I
I mean,
so stressed when I don't see the move. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
it's okay. You got it, you got it. Yeah, so knight comes to d4 here, and basically black here has a lot of fun. Bishop f5, knight comes to d7, queen comes to h4, all sorts of good things. Knight takes d5 I think is a little bit better. I think we're supposed to grab this one. But also good compensation. It's just like, we're down a pawn, but it's like, are we down 1 point or are we up 8 points, you know? It's like, you're not using them.
Thinking about it.
Swing that in, right?
And just material in general. If all the pieces are cramped, then
Yeah.
you're not actually down.
Exactly. So here, so that's knight d3 pretty much. I think that's really just kind of that one line, and it's a rare move. We can talk a bit about knight f3. Knight takes c6 lines are very fun. It is most common. Knight f3 I get a lot at higher levels. And it makes a lot of sense because it denies the Stafford capture, which opens up all this stuff, and you'll see how good that is in a moment. And it looks like here White's next move is d4, after which we have the opposite of compensation, right? If that happens. So we can't allow that. The knight's supporting that well. So here we play your d5. Right? We gotta hit him there. So
I feel like d5 is a really common move in all of these variations.
yeah. Well, it's like if they're about to play d4, you're just like, absolutely not, right? So that happens. So most of the time they'll take. I've gotten e5 one or two times. It's important here just to, again, not allow d4 by actually playing d4 ourselves. Right? d4 here would just be so good for white. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so just d4.
Yeah. So we play d4 ourselves, and then otherwise, like, this pawn's going to be lost. We bring this knight to g6, castles, rook comes to e8, bishop comes to g4. I mean, nobody can really protect it, and black will be fine once they get that back. Otherwise, the excitement comes when they accept the gambit by taking. So here, this is like a reverse Urasov gambit. Urasov?
I don't.
How do you say?
Russian?
Isn't that?
Urusov.
How do you say bear in Russian? Like Ursula?
A bear?
Yeah, or am I completely off
Like
mark?
the animal?
Yeah.
Wait. Shit.
Never
I
mind.
know this.
I thought it was close to that. Anyway. But so here takes this is
This is gonna be in my head. And I will be able to pay attention.
okay, go to Google Translate, let me know.
Oh yeah, mid-V8. Duh.
Okay, I was completely off.
Not close to. Not
I don't know
close
why I
to.
thought that. I think maybe it was because of the Pokemon. Um, so this is a common gambit, actually, where white gets this position, and it's actually white's move here, just because, you know, they got the first move of the game, right? I don't know if you've seen this one before, but this is the Urasov Gambit, and this is actually considered quite good for white. We're actually just getting that same one, just down tempo in this position, if that makes sense. Like here, d5 takes, it's the same thing. We're just down a tempo.
Yeah.
White should play c3 and d4 to solidify this. It's with tempo, it blocks this diagonal. But most people here, and also notably, white can't play d4, right? Just because we're going to take it. Most people here play knight c3, right? And we just swing our queen to h5.
Makes sense.
And why can't white play d4 here?
Because it's bad.
Indeed.
Because
Ursa Ring, that's the one.
I guess you could just go.
It evolves from somebody else.
You can just go knight takes z4 now.
Absolutely right. A couple people have fallen for this. Here, white, I mean, it's just kind of dead equal in the endgame.
Yeah.
Teddiers, okay. Sorry, we're talking about bear Pokemon in our chat. So Queen H5. Queen H5 here stops D4, and so most people here are playing what?
Bishop E2.
Yeah, Bishop E2, right?
Yep.
And here Bishop G4. And so this is set up quite nicely. This is set up quite nicely because it puts pressure this way. What?
Are you talking about more Pokemons in the chat?
Maybe. This is set up quite nicely because it puts a lot of pressure on the pin, and also they can't take our Pikachu because the rook would be hanging.
Yep.
So
Barrett one.
after Bishop G4, if white could really walk into a lot of trouble because so for instance, so D4 here is actually really it's playable. We can't take it because the bishop will guard this pin, right? But we castle along here with an excellent pin ourselves, and all our pieces are operating really here quite nicely, right?
Yeah.
And after bishop to e3, I believe we can play this f5 move. Yeah, f5.
This feels like the Scandinavian.
Yeah, kind of, right? Except black kind of got everything they wanted, right? So like f5 castles, f6, white does something. And so the big idea, so, okay, well, one of the big ideas of f5 is actually to play this move f4, which dislodges the bishop from here. So after takes, knight takes, and we needed knight f6 to protect this. So like knight takes d4 here, we can now just recapture with the rook or the bishop. We needed this protected,
Nice.
if that made sense,
That's
right?
smart.
Because they were hitting. So f5, knight f6 is pretty common. It also has like an added benefit of like h3 being able to like either sacrifice on h3 or to even let them take it, right? And either like pawn takes or bishop takes. Because something you'll be doing a lot is pulling like this bishop back to d6, threatening mate by threatening to get rid of that. And this is very annoying, right? Because h3 very often you can sacrifice.
Yep. Especially if it's blitz.
Right. Like you gotta be careful of like knight g5s or knight e5s as like an intermezzo here, but it never works with the pawn there is a great resource because you can control the square. Otherwise, like you can imagine if we did it too early, like okay, like let's say it's just like this or whatever. Play bishop d6, we're threatening mate, right? We're trying to also take that knight so that we can, because the knight was protecting mate, right? So like imagine here h3 takes knight e5 now. This is a huge problem, right? Because you can't play bishop g4, your queen is hit,
Right. That's why you
and
need a
and you
pocket.
can't take because of this, right? Even if you had a knight on f6,
Ooh,
it's actually the same
yes.
issue, right? So knight f6, even if you like it feels like that maybe it should give you enough control, but I think this also makes it not work, because you still can't play bishop g4, and then you still can't take here. Although, okay, well here actually the queen is hanging, but anyway, the check could force a queen trade or something, right? So it's just something to be aware of. But in general, in these lines, you want to castle, you want to play f5, knight f6, you want to put pressure down this line. Like okay, let's say they played like d3 instead of d4, right? I think it might be a better example. Castles, f5. You want to play bishop d6, you want to play knight f6, you want to threaten here, make them play like either g3 or h3. And then very often, if you provoke something of that sort, right, you provoke g3 here, then you can bring your rook to e8 and threaten like sacrifices for that.
The light squares fall apart.
Light squares fall apart. Yes, ma'am. So, but anyway, it's just fun. It's really just fun, right? Like you play like you're swinging queen h5. It's pretty straightforward. It's like okay, bishop g4, castles. I know my ideas here and here. Bishop d6, right? Or just bring all your pieces to the center. Absolute worst case scenario.
Arrows.
It's a lot of arrows. I can draw even more. but yes, but yeah, you want to bring your rooks to the center. Also very often, and like absolute worst case scenario, if you don't checkmate them, it's okay, because like you're like, oh no, I developed all my pieces, got my king safe, took control of the center, like, and my idea for attacking didn't work out. It's like okay, like it's still a good thing nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this it's just
They're
quite
saying
nice.
you're almost as good as Hikaru at drawing arrows.
Thank you. Bro thinks he's a Karu. C3 here, f6. Well, C3. Okay, we can do something nice, which is like we can like pin, but I think like the pin kind of falls apart, because they can protect. But yeah, I think it's really not
Knight
that different, because like bishop, yeah, comes here, right? And it's like okay, well, this is
and
kind of
then
what I
you still
wanted
go
to do.
f5.
Yeah,
Eventually.
h3. Engine's telling me to go knight f6. Just go for this. This is like threatening to be perpetual. Imagine like
Yeah.
here. Check. 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 Okay. I mean, things can happen. C3 is a difficult move. And rare.
Then GM draw.
Yeah, GM draw. GM draw out of the Busch-Gass Gambit, right? So yeah, after d5, mm, I mean, things are quite good. I think things are quite nice. I'm really not too afraid of these lines. Okay, so so that brings us to knight takes c6, right? By the way, there. Hello,
Yes.
Bamsion. By the way, there's gonna be a test of all this at the end, so I hope you're ready.
No, don't do that. I'm not ready.
All right, first question. How do we recapture here?
D takes
All
c6.
right, good. Okay, there's a lot of ways white can go wrong here. So this is looking, we talked about the Stafford. This is looking a lot like a Stafford. In fact, this position would be the Stafford, right?
Yeah.
This position would be the Stafford, and Black's next move in almost every case scenario is bishop c5, right? In that position, yeah. Like, imagine this, right?
And here bishop c5, yes.
Well, this is the starting position. It's White's move. This is the starting position of the Stafford, and against anything like d3 or knight c3, Black's playing bishop c5, right?
Yeah. Right. What?
I'm reading chat. I'm not always laughing at you. Um, so yeah, so knight f6. Um, okay, but that's not the position. We have the bishop on c5, so it's quite similar. It does give us one other option though, which I think is quite nice, which is to play f5 before knight f6, and that opens up a couple other targets. So we'll talk about that. But okay, anyway, in the Lichess database, it's kind of funny here. The most common move is bishop c4, which is very much not a good move, and we'll talk about that. Bishop c4 gives black actually a couple good moves. What do you think? Turn that off.
I mean, we can go for queen d4.
You could, but what would white play?
After queen d4.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're attacking here and attacking here. Can they defend both?
I have to go queen e2.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I mean, that's kind of annoying, right? You just get driven out next turn and probably d4.
Yep.
But classic calculation idea: reverse the move order.
Oh, bishop takes.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, this is playable. I'm not exactly quite sure what the eval is. It's kind of interesting. Obviously, they can't castle anymore, but white's kind of okay. Otherwise, right? But the more fun thing you can do is just the classic Stafford tricks. So, like knight f6, like d3, right, to protect. I mean, like, people at all levels fall for this, right? And then, so we're hitting f2. They don't have d4 to block the bishop, right? Critically, d takes c.
That's the worst thing to get to play against as white.
Yeah, this here white's already doing badly. The queen has stopped d4. The bishop has allowed for knight g4. This capture has allowed for both those things, right? So that we don't hang our knight. Yeah, castles here. You've seen this trap before.
Have I seen it? I've encountered it.
Oh no. Yes, basically the knight on f3 is in general, a critical guarder of the standard castle, right? In terms of keeping the queen out of these nasty squares, in terms of guarding h2, right? And white is without that piece and going to be without their king very shortly. After like h3, knight takes f2. Takes
Not good times. Not good times.
Yeah, bishop g4 here is the nasty move that just ends the game.
Fun stuff.
Queen takes, that's mate. Otherwise, h takes. And then
Queen h4.
h4. Yep. So, but yeah, so we have these ideas, right? We can go knight f6. Even if castles, actually, you play knight g4 anyway. So it's kind of interesting, right? Our threat, so if h3, what do we do? Otherwise, our threat is pretty obvious, right? It's queen h4. Like, for example, c3 or prepare d4, queen h4, and white can resign. But h3...
Queen h4.
Yeah. Well, okay, not queen h4 here, because our knight's hit.
Is there some counter move here? Alright, knight takes f2 is too ambitious, right? But maybe not. Just knight takes f2, bishop takes, and then queen d4.
Yep, very good. Very good. That's it. Trade everything here and check, and the bishop's unprotected, right?
Yeah.
And then here, you're just up material. Right, we have a rook for a piece. Good. Yeah, so that's our threat in addition to queen h4. I believe here it's very difficult to protect both if you're white. I think the best move is like queen f3. So that way fortifies f2, right? And then here, black's doing excellently. I think knight e5 is a good move. We also don't want to get mated. Knight e5.
I do not.
We do not. Knight e5 covers a few things. And now, for example, like queen b3 or something. Queen c3, I think we just include bishop d4. Queen b3 or something. And now I think even queen h4 now is a good move. I'm not sure. f6, queen h4. Yeah, queen h4 is a good move. Got some threats. I mean, it's kind of very difficult for white to do anything. This knight sits quite excellently here, right? And we've got some threats. In fact, I think we're maybe again threatening this or something. But much easier to be black here, just bishop g4 and castles, worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, so for example, if they play here d3 to guard here, then knight g4. I think they blocked queen g3 or something, right? So then this maneuver did not help them in the end.
And then h3 is everything's hanging on f2.
Exactly. This is the idea of the double attack here. Good. So, yes, bishop c4, not a good move, even though it's the most common move. D3, you can do a straight transposition to the Stafford if you'd like. Otherwise, what I like here is to play f5 very often. I mean, often I do go for straight transpositions, but f5 offers something different. Because here you can play an f6, and then at least like you got like a couple points you can attack. Castle, you can bring the rook in to attack like e4 and f2.
Is queen h5 really bad after f5?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a waste of a tempo. I mean, we just play g6.
This is not weaken the
Well,
here.
okay, where are you gonna go? Like just back or here?
Yeah,
All the way back?
back.
I don't think that's like worth a tempo in general in the opening, in my view. Like just to put the pawn here, like that's a full tempo, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like we had this position where white can make a move, and now instead, now instead we have like this position where I just like kind of included an knight f6. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Sense.
especially now where like you want to castle so quickly, because again, like this could be an issue, you know? And castle, my rook's gonna help out here. So yeah, I think e5 very often you have queen d4 maybe to hit. Though here I think knight g4 is quite good. But yeah, no, but good question though. So yeah, f5 otherwise, I mean takes, like you play here knight f6 or something. Castles, bishop takes. Like I think it's just kind of pleasant. But otherwise, if you want to play your knight f6, you can, and you can check out Eric Rosen's videos. So
Nice
yeah,
plug-in.
yeah, yeah. Plug in for my man. He really needs it. He's really struggling for viewers. Um, D takes c6. So okay, d3. I mean that pretty much covers it. So the one thing that makes this different from the Stafford, I mean, okay, there's a few things other than like f5 and such, but the one option that they have here that's very different than f6 is to play c3, and this looks bad because it's like okay, d4 is really coming this time, right? Like all the time, it's like they really want to play d4, and it just like really kills our bishop and everything, and gives them the whole center. And it's like they're like, okay, now it's actually gonna happen. There's no way that d4 won't be their next move, right?
Knight f6.
Knight of six, but still d4, right? And then like once
Yeah,
this
if that's a
happens,
d4,
okay, you want to trade and grab the rook?
my knight's probably gonna get trapped, but maybe not.
Maybe. I guess the issue is like this knight gets attacked right now, right? And they
Damn it.
stop the queen trade,
Yeah.
and then yeah. But good thought though. Good thought. Otherwise, like yeah, if this happens, okay, again, we're talking about the opposite of compensation, right?
Right. Yeah. It's
So,
bad.
okay, the move here is to go queen h4. So they can play d4 if they want to, but then it's actually just like completely equal, right? Just here bishop d6. Like what?
If
Wait a
this were guessed that you're low, I'd say this is like a 600 versus an 800. 9 out of 10 times.
wait, why?
It's just the queen in the center, and it just looks like in her chest.
Yeah, I guess it would be a 600 who's a big fan of the Busch-Gass Gambit and has watched my video.
Yeah. They would accidentally go into the Busch-Gas Gambit without
They would
knowing.
accidentally do it. Yeah. Um. However, it's funny you should say that about such low elos. This line after d4 is just equal. Queen f3 is the move. This is the game where I beat Mittens.
You beat
I
Mittens?
beat Mittens, and you can find it on you find it on YouTube. It's one of my most proud life accomplishments. And to my knowledge, I'm the only one who's beat Mittens. I beat Mittens with the Busch-Gas Gambit. This was our first six moves. To my knowledge, I'm the only one that beat Mittens without using Stockfish. I've seen people.
Whoa.
I
That's
don't know. I don't
impressive.
know if anyone's done it. I saw like some like Rosen
Anyone
and
else
Schranz
beat
videos.
Mittens?
I saw Hikaru like scored like half out of 10, and he's like, "Yes, I drew." But yeah, no, it was a really cool game. I sacked two rooks. Um, It was very
You heard
cool.
it here. If you want to beat Mittens, then play the Busch-Gas Gambit.
Exactly, exactly. And but Mittens only has an elo of 1. But it was during the Mittens hype, right? Speaking of life cycles of things, right?
Mhm.
Haven't heard about Mittens in a minute.
So
Sad.
I missed that whole trend.
Yeah, we gotta get some new demonic cat.
Some Pokemons, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Demon cat from Pokemon, yeah. So Queen H4. So right, so D4 is just equal. Otherwise, like, okay, we do have 2 threats, one which is even more important than the other. Some people here play instead of Queen F3, Queen E2, which just loses on the spot.
That loses on the spot after
Hmm.
Bishop G4.
Very good. And suddenly the Queen cannot
Right?
hold F2. And F3 is illegal,
Dun, dun, dun.
right? Yeah, Queen's gotta go this way. G3, I believe Queen H5 with Bishop F3 to follow. And like the rook is lost. G1. Or maybe like B5 so we don't lose this bishop while the queen still hangs around here, right? Now trap the rook or something. But anyway, Queen E2 is losing, right?
Yeah.
So wait here is Queen F3. And so now here's the tricky move. Where it's like, okay, this is the last annoying thing you can do. Everything's protected. D4 is coming, right?
Mhm.
Bishop G4 gets you nothing, right? Just Queen G3. There's one thing that is not protected in White's position here, actually, and that we're going to take
The
advantage
bishop
of.
on C1.
Yes, it's the bishop on C1.
Queen G5.
Queen G5. It's Queen H6, but yes.
Oh.
So it's this maneuver. We drag the queen out, and now nobody's guarding C1, and White is again probably so frustrated that they still can't get this in.
That's very
Because queen
annoying.
takes C1. Yeah. So most people here,
And so many people probably fall for that, right? They go D4 anyway.
I've never gotten this in a game, unfortunately.
No, you haven't?
No. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's not really intuitive. You don't really think about like a bishop on C1 not being protected, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, most people here play bishop C4, and it's what Min's played against me. It's like, okay, well, I'm threatening mate, and I'm gonna castle, right, which is fine. Rook will protect bishop, and then D4, and now it's gonna really be bad for you. You're gonna lose your queen or your bishop, right? Once their rook gets there. So bishop C4, okay, threatens mate. That's or it's almost mate, but it's kind of important. So knight F6, castles, and now at exactly the right moment, when D4 is like definitely coming for real, for real, for real this time.
Knight G4. Is that a thing?
Knight G4. Well, we might lose this.
Oh.
Although somehow there's no follow up. But I guess maybe just take an H3. It seems almost less ridiculous than you think. Was this your idea actually? And then maybe the queen is trapped?
Yeah, that was definitely my idea, 100%. My idea was actually knight D5.
Knight E5 in this position? Yeah.
It was if H3 knight E5 before.
Oh, so you
the
missed
whole thing.
this. Okay.
Yeah.
But you might be like a
I'll admit
genius.
it.
You might be a
I'll
genius.
take it.
Yeah, King D8.
Because the queen is trapped.
Yes, kind of. They can
I
counterattack our
think
queen.
we just discovered new theory.
Yeah, actually, the engine's recommendation here I just turned on is Queen G3.
Let's go.
Queen
Knight
F7.
G4.
Yeah, Knight G4. So King D8. H3. Wow, what a great
And
accidental
rook F8.
fate. D4. So the line continues here with G5. So, okay, we don't lose our queen. Now the queen is actually trapped for real. And it's saying it's equal, though, after this.
Crazy. Wow.
And then you save your bishop. And this is what we got. So they sacrificed their
That's a
queen.
crazy line.
They got a rook, knight, and pawn, which adds up to 9, right?
You can take G4 also.
G4 should be maybe hang. It recommends here bishop H5. Bishop H5 makes a lot of sense. Also, maybe you don't want to get mated here.
Yeah.
And then we got this, yeah. We'll swing the rook in. It's a game. I don't know. This is totally a game. It's just the better player will win, right? So yeah. Okay, quite interesting. Queen f7, not the best. Yeah, h3 and 85. And I think black's doing well, so queen g3 is
Yeah,
recommended.
that was my original idea.
Nice. Okay, knight g4. Very interesting. Gambiting this pawn, right? I like allowing queen takes f7. Okay, well, what I was going to say, and what I played against the Demon Cat, was with this actually protected, and with d4 coming for real, for real, for real, we say, okay, well, there's actually, like, almost nothing more on this diagonal, right? They've defended f2, like, a couple times with queen here, with castles, was all to defend this. So there's nothing more there, so we switch to our other diagonal. And so still there's no d4 because we made a new threat, right?
Cool.
And so here after h3, so the move I played against Mittens, there's two moves I actually have here in the theory. One is bishop g4. You see the point?
Yep.
So we have mate. Sorry, here. One is bishop g4. The other is this move bishop f4, which again stops d4, right?
You just really don't want to let white.
I really don't want to fight bishop d4 because right now I'm not down a pawn. I'm up like a bishop, knight, and rook. Right? This pawn is so stupid if there's no d4. Right?
Yeah.
And then basically here black
Bishop
could
is a pawn.
right. Bishop g4 is a good move also. Because like queen d3, like for example, if white it's like plays okay, I think here like knight a3, which maybe like protects this. I think here black can win with bishop g4. So queen takes, loses the queen. H takes mate, and queen d3. So what do we play here after queen d3? Why is white losing here?
Rook d8.
Rook d8, chase the queen away again, and now what can we do now?
Probably bishop takes h3.
Exactly, exactly. Good. We chase the queen off this third rank, and then this is like very obviously checkmating. There's just nothing around, right?
Yeah, and if not g takes h and d4,
Well, then I think
then bishop takes g2.
Yeah,
right?
very good, right? We're gonna keep one of these two bishops, right? They can only eliminate one. So we're gonna
and then
mate
king
either
takes
there or
g2,
there.
queen h2. Yeah, then there's
Don't
mate.
let him
Just
run
go
away. But yes, I'm sure there is. So, yes. Although, and the other idea that black has here, which can also, I think rook e1 is the best move for that reason, so that h takes will actually just win your bishop because it'll run away, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay.
So bishop g4 here is a blunder, but otherwise here we played just g5, g4.
g5.
Like
I'd
g5.
be really scared to do that.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about just like pawn moves in front of your king in general, right? The important question to ask yourself is whose king does it make more unsafe? Right? Whose king is more unsafe right now? And the answer is
At the very moment, it's white.
it's definitely white's. Even though like it's not all about pawns in front of your king. I mean that's a very important factor. But white just has no pieces or files to attack us. Like the king's like in a king and pawn ending. If the king's in the middle of the board, is the king unsafe?
No.
No, because there's nothing that can get you. And so like the same like general principle applies right now, right?
Mm.
And also eventually long term we'll be safe here. But g5, I mean, it's it's very dangerous for white's king after g4. Like that could just win the game, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so and also I think another thing about I mean it's a good point you brought up about like okay being scared to play g5. Imagine you're white here. This is how I select every move. I mean, okay, it's much easier said than done. But the answer to the are you ever like thinking like on your opponent's turn and it's just like I hope they don't go there kind of. It's just like maybe it's not even the best move, but it's just like I don't want to deal with that.
Probably bad. Yeah, it's like it's probably bad, but it's scary.
Right. I just don't know what I would do, right? I just kind of hope like they don't do that. I try to find that move. I like if I were my opponent, what move would I not want to face? I make them uncomfortable. They're human too, you know?
Unless it's mittens. They're not human.
Although I don't know. Mitten's lost to me in this position. Demon Cat goes very egotistical. It's very confident in its abilities. So yes,
Makes
Bishop F4. Yeah, I mean, okay. She had every right to be. She was
I
beating
guess
everyone
you
up.
can Longside castle, if any, queenside castle, if anything.
Yeah, but white might not even make it that long. This is pretty killer.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
You convinced me. G5. Great move.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I mean that's kind of like the main lines here. I will say, so my recommendation to refute the Busch-Gass Gambit, unfortunately, is at the time I made the video, this move had not existed in the database at all, like not even one time. But it's in this position if white plays knight to a3, which protects the bishop immediately.
A3.
It just protects the bishop immediately.
Yes.
So this is what I recommend for white, and then we
And
need.
this is good for white.
Yeah, I mean we need to take this just because d4 is actually coming. This is protected, and then we like slide the queen out the way. Although I've actually won from this position as well. Play here like f5, I hit against this a castle. But white here is kind of up a pawn. But I play like f5, I strike, and go for it with my rooks. Like for example here, I play f5. I'm trying to open this with my rooks. Like e5. Now maybe I use this square or something. I'll be safe here.
Yeah.
Push
Get
this.
some squares.
Yeah. Although, I mean, okay, it's not full compensation. But knight a3, I mean, I think it has been played like one time in the whole Lichess database. So.
Don't tell them.
Yeah, don't tell them.
Keep it.
Don't tell them.
Keep it secret.
No, I mean, I'm always like, I'm recommending things to my viewers. I don't take that lightly. Just like, and especially like given that it's so against the grain and so like bad according to Stockfish, so I want to be like completely honest about everything. Yeah. Or rather than just like you play this, you'll checkmate in 8 moves every time, Or just like
Yeah.
BS videos like that. So, and then yeah, I mean the trouble with those things is like then you go to actually play it and then it's just like doesn't work and it's like, well, I wonder what happened here, you know. So, okay, well, Queen H4. So we have actually covered all this. We've now covered everything with C3. We've covered everything with D4. We've covered everything with E5. Do you want to do a review or not? Not really. When we should go to Bishop C4.
I'm so terrified of this test that you're talking about.
All right. Well, we'll save it for after Bishop C4. So we'll make it a full
I
test.
graduated from tests a long time ago.
Me too. So Bishop C4 is the most common move. And so here's the catch, right? We could just be normal and transpose back into Italians, right?
Yeah.
But we play here knight f6.
Or-
And this is when the eval really spikes. Because knight takes e5, it's going to get into like almost +3 territory. Although not everyone plays knight takes e5, but the more you think about it, the more good it looks. Because it is actually hitting f7. And like if you just castle or do something normal, then d4. And again, we're facing the opposite of compensation.
But what's there instead? Bishop takes f2?
Sorry, repeat that again. You cut out for a moment.
Is bishop takes f2 the move?
No, it's not. We can't just sacrifice things for no reason. We need like a
not no
microscopic
reason.
reason. At least.
You get two pawns.
You get 2 pawns. Don't worry, lots of bishop takes f2s are coming. It's a good thought. In fact, bishop takes f2 will be coming the very next turn. Here there's a couple other things. D3 is literally just an Italian transposition. And castles is quite fun. And we'll get to all that. Okay, knight takes e5. It's like +3 after, not castles, which is actually the engine's recommendation. It's like cut your losses here, but rather knight c6.
What? You're allowing all this?
Yes.
It's a little crazy.
This is where the fun begins, as Anakin Skywalker would say. So, f7's hanging 2 separate ways. We'll get to both of them. What's your initial reaction to this position, actually?
Well, again, 600 ELO chess.
Okay. It's actually fun to see your react. Yeah.
It looks like black is about to lose.
Yeah, okay, quite fair. What's your recommendation for white?
Knight takes f2.
Okay.
Like, I am scared. Maybe King F1.
King F1. Okay. Sidestep the craziness, right? This is too much material. Okay.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Alright, now, is white still better?
I don't know. I'm gonna disable the eval bar.
Alright, now can you take the rook? I take
Okay.
h8.
Knight takes h8. D5. The
Oh
Traxler
my
themes are
god.
coming. I'll talk about actually the key differences between this and the Traxler.
E takes D.
Takes D.
What are you threatening? Except a lot of things. Um, D6.
D6.
Yeah, D6.
Okay.
I'm probably about to lose right now. Uh,
Hang on.
what if
Okay.
I
Now I'm
go
ready.
C3?
D3. Okay, I'm actually maybe a little bit out of prep right now.
I turned around and you're in glasses?
The Gambit glasses are on.
Uh-oh. It's getting serious.
It's getting serious. Hmm.
Where'd you get those
Have
glasses? Your mom's closet?
These are the Gambit glasses.
Where'd you get them?
Where'd I get them? Bush and Gas
Yeah.
gave them to me.
Ah, I see, I see.
Yeah.
You're taking quite a while to think.
I want to get this right, you know. Okay. Bishop here.
Okay. Um, hold on. I'm terrified. So my queen is hanging,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I need to do something about that. Fine. Queen H4. A4. Queen A4.
I'm just gonna go back.
Am I up material? I am up.
White's always up material in the Busch-Gass Gambit.
I need that. I need that. Knight F7.
Counterattack. Okay. I don't want to trade queens. I'm gonna go here.
Nope.
Again, pinning the D pawn.
Wait, I hate that move. That's terrible. What do I do? All right, fine. No, not fine. Maybe fine. D3.
Okay. In spite of this pin. However, check.
Shoot.
Power of the Gambit glasses.
Is this mate though?
Yes.
Wait, King E1. Yeah, it's mate. It's mate. I don't even wanna play this.
GG. So,
Nice.
well, we can have a look at this. Yes. So, the Gambit glasses, if you don't know, we put them on after every gambit we play, on stream and everything, and they allow us
You
to
have
see
some tension
things.
up in there.
No, you can see. In fact, you can
No
actually
glass.
see you can actually see the reflection of everything I'm looking at.
All right. Do
They just
it,
give
but
you their
except
magical
which
powers.
ending?
Sorry, it was good.
How would you
D6 is
rate
actually
its end?
D6 is actually the best move.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's actually quite rare. D6 is a very good move, and so we'll talk. So let's talk about a couple ideas. Thank you, Busch-Gass are proud of me. I am trying to carry on their very important legacy that they left.
Who are
Um,
Bush and Gas?
Bush and Gass are the founders of like like the Gambit Creed. You know,
Where are they from?
they're
Who are their families?
they're like the Gambit gods.
Can you give me who's the dad of the god?
They
Poseidon, Zeus.
yeah, that sort of thing.
Okay, so you don't know much about Bush and Gas as
I
people.
just told you everything.
I just want to know about their lives. Where were they born?
They were born like on like Mount Olympus, you know, and that they founded the Gambit Creed and all of us, and we are their
Okay,
disciples.
I see.
So,
Checks
knight
out.
d4. So yes, this is the Traxler. So the Traxler would have the pawn on e5. Do you know of it? I think Levy has recommended it a couple times.
I
The
do not. I do not.
Traxler comes out of like a fried liver. This, NHE5, you know this, yeah? So it hits f7 before ready to castle, right? Otherwise, any bishop,
Yeah.
right? So bishop
What do
c5.
you do here?
Well, the main line here is with d5. You need to block this. Takes knight d4 and knight a5 are the main moves now.
Okay.
Well, anyway, there's some theory here, but bishop c5 is the Traxler. And if knight takes f7, bishop takes f2, it's actually looking kind of quite similar. In fact, it's just the knight in the other line came from e5, right?
Yeah, this just looks very similar to what just happened.
Except, so the difference is that this pawn exists, right? And I would contend, well, like in these sorts of lines, like one pawn worth of material wasn't swinging it either way, right? Like we have our rook hanging, we have our bishop hanging. Like one pawn's not
Yeah,
really
well,
matter.
mine was +6
So,
and I still lost.
well, most people do. So bishop takes f2.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, so not having this pawn is actually quite helpful, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because in this position, this is actually still theory, but not having this pawn means that there's queen e1 stuff all the time. And the queen operates
Yeah,
here
it's
very
very
well,
annoying.
right? And also better control over e2 and everything. So like it's just not an important pawn. So we go back to like the main Busch-Gass lines here with takes, sorry. Oh, I'm already giving away too much. But with the king f1 line, so the king f1 and king takes f2 is the main break. It's a big branching point. But king f1, queen e7, knight h8. We have here d5 takes knight d4, and not having the pawn, right? And so what we're
Yeah.
threatening now is bishop g4 trapping the queen. That's our biggest threat. So bishop g4 last turn wasn't as good because bishop e2 white's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But after knight d4, now we, of course, are controlling the e2 square, and bishop g4 is very serious. So, for example, if d3, I think white could lose pretty quickly, also with, like, check, like, check, like, check, like,
This
queen
hurts my
c5.
brain.
This is killer, yeah. So, like, knight f3 comes, or something. Did I get that wrong? Queen h4 first. There's a lot of just, like, really fun lines here. Like, mates coming unstoppably.
The eval bar just went ham. It was
Yeah.
like +1 for white, and now it's mate in 10.
Yeah. So basically, like, so there's some ideas here that you'll get kind of used to, right? Oh, we got
Yeah.
some info from chat. The German player E. Busch introduced this gambit the first time in 1906. So, like I said,
Where?
a god indeed.
So he's a German god.
Right. He's the German god of gambits.
Okay.
So D3, most people play here C3, after which we go bishop G4, queen A4, and I believe C6 wins. So this is quite fun, and this is totally because of queen E1. So the only way to stop it at this point is king takes, and we have here check, and I believe so king F1. We just go check and into F2 with queen F2 coming, and king G1. I believe it's here. After which we are threatening, like, you know, some really nice checkmates. Double check.
Just everything.
Yeah, everything. Like these knights are just they're just
threatening
absolutely
life.
killer. You can see how magical this line is, right? Like how it's like +6 and it works every time, right? And it's just like such
It's
such
really
crazy
nice because,
stuff.
like, a lot of the times you remember theory and it kind of just takes the fun out of chess because you're just like sitting at a board playing moves that you have already
Right?
repeated 100 times. But this forces you to go back to your chess in the when you were playing in elementary school days.
I like that. It's like a throwback, you know?
Yeah, it's TBT.
Except it's just like it's so crazy, right? These positions. Um and it's so fun. It really like allows you to demonstrate your kind of creativity and
Yeah,
attackingness, right?
cool.
The other thing is, so king takes f2, I should touch on. Like a delayed king takes f2. However, here in hg4, and this is really like the beauty of the knights in this line. So every king spot loses now. So king f1, we go check, and queen f2 comes. Because queen f3 is
Yeah.
blocked by this knight, and queen f2 is supported by the other one, right? So it's really quite nice. Otherwise, king
And king
g1.
G3.
Right, king g3 is kind of interesting. I've yet to get it. King g1, what do we do?
Let's see. King G1. We have to threaten mate. What do we do? Maybe we just go knight takes C2. Is that no, we can't do that. Never mind. We're down a ton of material.
It does come up from time to time, knight takes e2. But we have a really nice idea to threaten mate.
We do?
Mhm.
Is it like something with Queen C5?
Queen c5, absolutely. Because double checks are really good.
Yeah.
Double checks are really good. Like b4 doesn't stop us from double check and mate. Right? And it's just like so nice. Queen e1. I think bishop e6 is even the move. And how this knight now blocks the queen, stops the queen's blockade this way, right?
That's a nice move. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like remember how before, so like for example here, if king f1, we have queen back to f8, queen c5,
Oh,
queen back to f8, and now we got mate. This knight now blocking the other knights. They help each other, right? Like this knight's gonna be the hero of queen f2, just like how in the other line this
they're
other knight was gonna
homie.
be the hero. But both of them stop the queen from getting in the way.
They're homie knights.
They're homie knights. Exactly. So, yeah, good. So, yeah, king takes f2, also loses, I think, knight g4. And yeah, there's some complex lines after, like, bishop e2 or d6, like you said, which distracts the queen here. And now I think d3. In a lot of lines, though, like,
Does
taking
that
the, take,
happen?
in our game, yeah, so we can actually look
Yeah.
at our game. So,
I forgot what we
c3 you
did.
played, bishop g4 is correct. Bishop d7 is yeah, bishop d7 and c6 are both winning here. So if you went back... Oh, well, it's saying it's winning. My plan was actually to castle, which is okay, and still -1. But it's actually saying I should repeat and play c6. when this is winning. The idea is queen f4. So, like, takes and queen f4.
Yep.
And then bishop comes back and queen comes in.
The
Wow.
subtle moves
Yeah,
that
it's
aren't
just
actually.
like... It's so nice because it's like you look at this, like white's up so much material, right? Like all this is hang, they're already up a rook, but like none of these pieces do one damn thing for them, right? And so like as long as we can be really quick, we're really the ones up material. Like, we're the ones using, like we have more pieces we're using right now than them. So, like, if we can go quick, we're gonna win. You know, we have more resources than them.
The dynamic advantage.
Yeah, exactly. As Straponsky would talk about that, right? Dynamic versus static. It was so funny. Yeah, so here in Nf3 you played. You got that from him?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I probably got that from some random
or you made it up.
video or book. Yeah, I made it up actually.
Yeah.
I trademarked, copyrighted that concept.
Okay. Gass was a German lawyer that played in the Bundesliga that rediscovered this gambit in 1984.
Bundesliga.
Jesus.
Isn't that the football league?
What does Bundes mean? I guess Liga is league.
Football
Yeah,
league.
Bundesliga I think is a football league. Football meaning soccer. Um,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
right. Yeah. But I guess it could also be a chess league. There is a chess Bundesliga. So Busch and Gass did not exist at the same time because Busch was in 1906 and Gass was in 1984. Jesus Ulick
They
Gass.
never met each other?
No. Jesus
Who is
Ulick
that?
Gass Till. He still plays. He's 75 years old and it's 2000 FIDE.
Gas still plays.
Oh my god, I have to contact this
Can
guy.
you challenge him?
I don't know where to find him.
Okay, we'll do some stalking. We'll find his address. We'll send some letters, and then we'll set up a match for you and Gas.
Oh my god, I got hits for the resurrection of Jesus. Uh, we'll investigate this on a later date. Ulrich.
Okay.
Oh, that was very different. Okay. We'll look at that later. All right, let's get back to Busch-Gass Gambit lines, though. So, we talked about this. King takes f2, yeah?
Yeah, that was the one I didn't want to go into.
So f2 was the one you didn't want to go into. A lot of people who play me agree. Knight takes e4 check. And this is quite interesting. Actually, every move pretty much loses other than king g1. Every move does lose other than king g1, actually, I should say. Because king e1, for instance, check. Queen coming into f2. g3, just knight takes g3. It's just like, you can see like this whole part of the board, yeah. It's just completely unused, right? And so they just kind of get completely destroyed. And they're not up a lot of material until they take the rook, right? So this works nicely. Otherwise, like king f1, you could castle. This is just a nasty bin. d5 pre-move.
Yep.
So yeah, so king g1 is the move. And so here anyway, we're gonna play queen h4. So we save our queen. We're down a piece. We're not down a rook. We're threatening mate, right? And so there's a few moves white has. They have g3 and they have queen e2, queen f3. Luckily for us, queen e2 and queen f1, which just isn't good. Queen f1, I think we just play rook f8. Just gets in this way. So queen e2 and queen f3, it's actually the same because we're going to play knight d4 anyway, and they just transpose. So like you can see here, like queen f3, knight d4, we hit the queen, and we're threatening mate there. And they need to stay tethered to this, right?
Yep.
So yeah, and queen. Anyway, so the queen ends up on e3. The queen ends up on e3 either way. And then Stockfish actually recommends a draw after knight takes e2, queen e stole to f2, and then also kind of e1. So it says queen e2.
There's no way that there's going to be a draw.
You're absolutely right. And so the move I recommend here, you know what the move I recommend here in my video is?
What?
It is castles.
Alright, fair.
So this rook that was dead in the water is now very, very alive and well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we have some pretty serious threats. What we want to do more than anything is play d5 and bring the bishop to g4. Because the bishop to g4 just ends the game. This queen is very precariously placed, If it gets touched even a smidge, it's going to lose either the f2 or the e1 square. And white has no other pieces, by the way, that they can use that would help even one bit.
Very unfortunate.
Right? So, like, for example, here in h5 check, d5. We want to play d5 against any check, because we want the pawn out of the way, we want bishop g4. Right, so like takes and king h8. And so queen takes e4 loses. Right? So knight takes e4 similarly loses. Because now I believe, even though the knight covered f2, queen e1 is just gonna win.
Yeah, no way. Stop it. Nice.
H3 probably. I think it's a like queen h3, so now we're threatening this. Queen d3, maybe an e1. And we get in. Something good.
Going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I just made that up. But I don't know. I mean, I'm always like I know some lines, but I'm always just kind of making things up, and I'm just like okay, castles, like sacrifice this d5, bishop g4, rook e8, and I just send all the people, just send them. You know, it's so much fun.
Mate, probably not. There's nothing with like bishop takes e2 and rook f1 and knight e8, right? I don't think there's a mate there. No.
Like almost. Yeah, okay, you should take this.
I don't think it's there.
Maybe. But yeah, probably best to keep the queens on. We're down a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this other line I have in my theory with bishop e4, bishop g4, knight 3. I believe it's with takes. Like g takes is forced or something. Because bishop takes will hang the e1 square one more time. Like g takes, let's play rook e8. Knight comes to d4 and we'll take f3. So this knight was actually not going to take the rook.
We don't need that when the rook
We don't
is
need
on
that
the
rook. Exactly. You starting to feel the spirit of this line?
I'm adopting the Gambit mentality, yeah.
I love to hear it. Okay. So here they have g3 as another line. I believe the move is queen to f6, because knight takes g3, the issue is actually queen e1 check. That's actually an unfavorable difference between the Traxler and this, is that we don't have the pawn here to shield that check. So g3, we should play queen f6, threatening mate. So we provoke this g3, right? Our last move was queen h4, g3. So like, yeah, when they came out, this gave us like knight d4 stuff, and we had like lots of fun castling, playing d5, just really sending all our pieces this way, and some really cool lines. Actually, wait, do I have one of my favorite? Actually, one of my favorite lines here was with queen f1 in this position. So we talked about this, but with rook f8, I have here d3, right? b5, just anything to detach the bishop here, and then bishop d5, bishop b7. Rook takes f7 is just going to be so good. So we just need to deflect this.
That's dirty.
Yeah. So anyway, really cool stuff. Okay. So we were talking about g3, queen f6. Queen e2. And here the line ends after d5, I recommend. Again, threatening to discoordinate here, so they should take it. We go check, block, and queen takes d5. Takes h8 and e5. So this is I think the best white can play. Actually, it's kind of funny, right?
Has this happened in any of your games?
I once played like a viewer who had prepared. I think I have this game like once in the Leechess database, like this exact position once. I think I
They
won.
purposely prepared against you.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was taking. I'm always happy, actually. Like I take challenges from anyone. I want to develop Busch-Gass theory. So feel free to prepare against me and play me. That goes out to anyone. That goes out to anyone. Feel
Better
free.
prepare now that I
Even with
have
the
you
engine,
on.
you're literally looking at my repertoire here. Even with the engine, come at me. So, but yes, so this is it. D5, take, check. Queen E3 is better than King G2, just because, like, you wouldn't want the king to end up there, I guess. Takes in 85. And this is the other thing. It's like in a lot of lines, like, you end up just, like, kind of. Well, you're down the rook, but you're really down exchange, because you're going to castle, and, like, you're going to take that knight just whenever you feel like it, right? And, like, you're looking at this, and
Yeah.
it's like, this is compensation for the exchange. Because it's like they have nothing, like these pieces are all dead. Like these threats are looking like very serious. Bishop h3. Like I think like almost anything could just like lose. Like takes bishop h3. Like this is I think quite serious. I know he got
Yeah.
files.
I'd just be scared
So
that if I'm too slow, White could get their pieces out.
yeah, but it's like imagine how scared white is. Right? It's a 0-sum game. Like who's
Yeah,
more scared, you or your opponent right now?
my opponent.
That's it. That's it. You just that's how you got to approach it. You just want to
Because
be. You just want to.
White has something to prove. 'Cause
Right.
they're the ones that are up +6, so it's kind of embarrassing if they lose.
But that's what I was saying also about like end games or just like something that could make your king unsafe. It's like it's a 0-sum game. Like your opponent could be worse at end games than you, or like that could make
Yeah.
your king it could make their king more unsafe than it made yours, right? Or they're more scared than you. Right. So like if you're white here and your opponent's been rattling off theory, and even if you made it to this point, well, you probably have no time on your clock at this point anyway, right?
That's
And
true. That's a big
it's
one.
also just like the level of like I also feel like the defensive skills have chipped away. Like they've used it all up, and like eventually like they crack. You know.
Their stamina is gone.
Yeah.
They're
Exactly.
500
Like they've
calories
hung
per
on to
day.
this point. Like if you've hung on to this point, I mean, and also like okay, if they're able to like also if they're like able to really rattle off like 20 moves of like stockfish recommendations and like really actually get to a winning position and like they actually did it, right? Well, like kudos to them, as long as they did that legitimately. But if
Yeah.
they're that good at chess, they were
And
going to beat you anyway. Like, did you think like if they're that good, like you were gonna win by playing just some normal equal mainline position?
that's a
Like,
good point. Or it could just be
it's
one of
just,
your
it's not
viewers.
like you missed something.
It could
What?
just be one of your viewers that prepared for you, and if you played a normal line, then you would have won. But they prepared for your Busch-Gass Gambit and beat you.
Well, then that will be content,
Yeah, then that's content.
right? Um, alright. So, but yes, so this is it's just so much fun, right? Like what are your thoughts so far?
I love it. I think my big problem is remembering the the lines because all the positions are so similar that I'd mix it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, there's some like you mean in the knight takes f7 stuff or in what?
Yeah,
Like yeah. So for this, like there's a couple just like kind of big ideas, right? Like after king f1, like okay, you don't want to lose your queen, and then it's like d5 and knight d4, and then from here, right? Like okay, we know we want to threaten to trap the queen here. Um, That's up, BK Chess. We know we want to try and trap the queen here. We know like we got these nice ideas of like queen c5 coming this way, of like coming to the f line, and if we can't punch him out right away, then worst comes to worst, we're castling, we're putting our rook on f8 or something and doing some damage. So it's like we like even if you don't remember much from this point, you have ideas and you know more than your opponent anyway.
yeah, sure.
So yeah, and it's like almost impossible to defend this for white, honestly, if you've just seen it. I think. And here, really, like if you're just going to e4 and queen h4, I feel like the rest you'll figure out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Like here, like okay, the queen comes out. Like it's important to remember this knight d4 to attack it, but I think that's something that makes sense. Like the queen is so tied
me
down
too,
to these
dude.
mate threats, and the castles is
Yeah,
fun.
it's
Like you bring the rook out. Like it's like these lines, like it's really like it's just about the spirit of it, right? About like playing castles. Like my next moves are really just here, here, and here, right?
yeah. And then
Like
B5 bishop E7.
Yeah, like the mini game I played against you earlier, right? I didn't have any like I was out of theory right away, right? But I kind of just used the ideas that I
Right.
knew. I don't know.
Because you've played this
So
so many times. You have a
yeah,
lot in your back pocket.
yeah. Also, yeah. I mean, I've also just explored this by making all this theory. But yeah, you're exactly right. Well, not too many people go down this. Um, but yes, you're absolutely correct. So what do we have? So okay, Nate, not Nate takes f7. We'll talk actually for an instant here about Knight takes c6. But here after d takes c6, this is actually looking like it kind of transposed into something we know, right? We actually had talked about this
Some
position.
Stafford looking thing.
We talked about this position, just this one, right? Here, Knight c6, here, right? If they take the pawn right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even if they castle on hg4, it's still good, right? Our threat to trade everything, and then to go queen d4, check, winning the bishop, even after h3. Right, you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So
So
bishop c4 here, knave 6, knight takes knight c6. So okay, that really just leaves this. And so this is kind of interesting. In my initial video, I recommended king to e7. Although these days I'm playing more king to f8, but both are playable. The thing about king e7 is, as fun and awesome as it is, there is one move that really kind of refutes it. I don't know if you can find out what it is.
whoa, that's a hard ask.
It is a hard ask.
Maybe like I don't know, d4 and bishop g5.
Eric Rosen played against me on stream d4 in this position once. I call it the Eric counter gambit. I have a video on that as well. But d4. No, I think we're just gonna grab it. No, we're actually not down anything. But it's interesting. The move is, yeah, but you're right about trying to save this while not giving us this excellent capture that will open everything, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, how would you not lose a piece? The move is bishop b3 that does that. Now, if we take it, first of all, it's not bishop c4. We're not attacking anything, and then we would get forked.
Mhm.
So that's the tricky move. I mean, it's played like in the Lichess database, like just like 3% of the time. But I just can't, in good conscience, recommend something that just can be refuted like that. So, but
Yeah.
there's so many fun lines here after takes that I like still want to kind of show. Bishop h5, another viewer played against me once, and it is definitely much better than bishop c4. And you'll see why, because bishop c4 we actually can sacrifice here and use this.
Oh, we've seen this before.
We have because we use this g4 square. So like there's
Yeah.
some fun lines here that I'll just show, which is the sacrifice bishop g4. You don't have to remember this, but bishop e2 is the only way to not lose your queen, right?
I have to remember everything else.
Takes, threatens mate. Yeah. Rook f1,
And it's fate.
rook f8. Again, this is just a string of only moves. Any rook trade will get you
Yeah.
mated, right? For example, like if you take this, trade, and checkmate.
Yep.
So this is a string of only moves. Bishop f3, and now bringing the last piece into the game, right? So they're up so much material, but literally none of it's used. That whole half of the board, not one move. Now the killing move is rook a8, and black will win this game basically off a king move.
Is it king d7 checkmate or something?
Yeah, that's basically like what's gonna happen.
Cool.
C3 is like the only move or something, because it's like, yeah, like d3, yeah, like king d8 wins or something. It's crazy. Like just rook takes e4.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Uh, yeah, it takes in here.
That's a crazy position.
Right, but I just love this so much. It's just like a string of only moves, and it's like rook f8, and then rook e8, and then because we brought all our pieces into the game, like we're down so much here, or actually we're only down one piece, but it's still just like after king d8, which first of all it's a king
Only
move that
one
ends the
piece.
game. Yeah, I mean we're using every single one of our pieces, and they haven't made a single move on that whole half of the board, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I love that, and also just to do it with a king move. But okay, so that's king e7. But won't talk too much about king e7 these
Alright, king
days
f8.
anymore. So yeah, king f8.
You're retiring king e7.
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
Okay.
So I had another video. In the original Busch-Gass Gambit video, it talks about king e7. I mean, I still talk about bishop b3 there, and I still actually have like a couple ideas against it. But we talk about king f8, and the difference is our ability to use this file. I have some theory here, but after like takes and queen takes e4 here, black here is doing quite well. If that makes sense. So like, right, we really want to play d takes e6. And white kind of wants to not give us that. D takes c6 really opens this up very nicely, right? And gives us a lot of ideas. And so with bishop takes f7, though, it's kind of like, how can you not take this knight? Right? Because this knight is hit and it's protecting the bishop. So bishop b3, yeah, it's like a desperate way to do it, but it's just not working really anymore. Before our king was on e7, but now it's not. And so now we're hitting this, and like queen takes e4, check. And this is just quite good for black. Like we're hitting this, and we're not down anything anymore after we take that knight.
And on queen e2.
I think there's queen g2. Is it playable or just dc6? Yeah, queen g2 is playable. Black's just better here.
Okay.
Yeah. So bishop b3 not really doable, and I mean many people won't really sense the full danger about taking this, right? I will say there's some other line that's actually quite interesting here is this counter gambit of literally castling, and then bishop b3. It's a gambit because white is now down a piece. They just let us take that knight.
They pulled an Uno reverse card on
Yeah, they really did. And they want to play like d4 and e5. So this it's some pretty interesting stuff. And I actually recommend giving that back. I think I have here bishop b6, d4, here in e5, right? Comes and we take. So we get this line. I think I've yet to face. I think a Wonder played this against me actually once.
some sparring games.
Yeah, I've had some sparring games against a Wonder. Yeah, he actually invented this. I have a video called the Wonder Counter Gambit, and it's with here castles, and
You
Nate
have
takes.
videos for every single move.
There's check it out. The
Check out the channel.
well, here I'll drop it. This is the full playlist. Or I'll put it here in. Actually, you can't see my chat. I'll message you on Discord.
And I'll throw it in my chat.
That would be the full playlist for that.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Yes, but yeah, I mean, all the stuff is covered, and it's like also like my games and everything with it. I've had crazy adventures in the Busch-Gass Gambit, and it's a crazy line. So okay, but most people are playing knight takes e6, right, and d takes, and then most people retreat the bishop actually all the way back to b3. They're like, okay, let me get out of the way of like queen d4, which could hit me here, right? But retreating it all the way back to b3 is actually loses immediately, and now they'll be punished for opening all this. We're down 2 pawns here, which could be a lot worse, right? But if they castle, everything is solved. What do you think here? Actually, I'll give you the first move. It's bishop g4, which forces f3. Otherwise, they lose their queen. Queen's boxed in. They haven't moved anything over here again.
And now we go. Knight takes e4. It's my first instinct.
A true gambit Jad here. Awesome. I'll have to get you one of these. You need the glasses. Knight takes e4, very good. Very killer pin. No castling. No pieces that can help white. Queen h4 coming. Takes, they lose their queen. Sorry, takes here, they lose their queen, yeah.
Yeah, so f6.
Takes,
Queen h4.
queen h4, yeah.
Yeah.
Queen h4, and then it's not even knight takes g3. It's not even that bad, it's even worse. It's even worse. It's even worse. King f1 eventually will force that king to e2. Takes.
And then will you play? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, king f1 drops the queen, right? Blocks the rook.
Right.
It's just brutal. Like if they had just like one piece out, or if they had like D3 and like one thing that could help them, it would be like. But otherwise, we just like walk all over them. They have no pieces.
And now you're D8, right? King D3 with D8.
King D3. Yeah, I think this is even clearer, and Queen D4 next.
Oh, just mate into.
But yeah, I think Rook D8 was probably also checkmating, right? I only saw here. I'm sure that I don't think they're surviving.
Well, probably the same thing, knight C5, queen D4.
Not Knight C5, but Knight D6.
Oh my god, I would have blundered that.
King D3, and now I think we got him. Yeah. Um, no, you're good. So, yeah, so that's fun there. Bishop C4, I think it's just Bishop F2, if I recall. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Bishop G4 first, and then Bishop F2. So, yeah, basically, like, more fun stuff comes here, right? King G1, you can mate him this way. King E1, you can get him the other way. Yeah, it's kind of like the same patterns that keep coming up, right? King F1, then, okay, we try to get him on these files, right? They can hold on F3 for a moment, but then, like, you can break through that or use your rooks or something. And it's just, they just, like, you need pieces in chess.
You need pieces.
Yeah, that's my valuable insight for today. Okay, that pretty much covers it.
Nice.
Wait,
Wow, that
actually,
was like a full crash course.
yes. The last thing I would say is so D3. I have lots of fun. I'll tell you how I play Italians. In Italian openings. But D6.
Italian GMs.
Yeah, so D6. But basically here, I kind of like that it's their move, even though the position's symmetrical, I will say. Because they castle, and now I play Bishop G4, and now, this is also helpful, I think, like also at the beginner level, like, how do you deal with these pins? The trick is, like, delay your castle a little bit, because, like, here you have G5, right? Which is just excellent, and then you go the other way.
Right.
Right, but if you were already here, right, then G5 is not good. But now G5 is like very helpful for your attack, right? Like imagine this. Okay, first of all, Knight D4 is great with the pin, but like okay, just like H5, H4, right? Going that way. King's safe behind 3 pawns over here. While we're pushing over here at theirs, right?
Yeah.
So delaying the castling is good. So like if they castle, we have Bishop G4, right? And if they play H3, then I play H6. And now if you castle, I'm still gonna get my bishop to G4. For example, like let's say it's my move again. I just force my bishop into G4, and now it's even better than before because this file's killer, and Knight D4 comes.
Yeah.
So like this is like what I try to do in a nutshell. When I get equal
Very
Italians,
cool.
of course, they can stop that. Yeah. After castles, there's Knight takes E4 here also, which is fun. Although, if you just want to play D6, you can. But Knight takes E4 is a very fun move, with the idea of trading everything on F2 in this line, for instance. I will say a lot of people against Knight takes E4 also, they just go Rook E1 and you take the Rook. But yes, I know it has been a lot. What are your?
A lot.
There's so
I
much.
think I need the exam. Where's the exam?
You want an exam right
Refresh
now?
My knowledge. I
Okay.
need to refresh my knowledge.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll be white. You be black. Okay.
Wait. All right. Yes.
Okay.
Let's think. E5.
There we go.
About this one. Bishop C5.
It's gonna get harder. All right.
What was the move here? Was it knight F6?
Also, what's white threatening?
C4.
Mm.
Oh, so it's D5.
Mm. We gotta stop D4. Okay, what if D4 now?
Then D takes E.
I guess d takes
right?
e. D takes e would be good. I guess knight takes e5 and white's fine. But close.
That wasn't the move.
I think
Was it E take?
yeah, e takes.
E
I think
takes
you're on the right
first,
track, right? Because now what?
and now D takes.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the raid, Vanny Queen. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome. We're going over some gambits that we've been learning for the past 2 hours.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
DE,
now,
right? Right? And now finish this for me.
and now Queen takes
Right.
D1, and then E takes F,
Uh-huh.
and then you have to stop Bishop F4.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to go Knight E7, not Knight
Very
F6.
good. Very
Bishop
good.
H6. So.
And we stop bishop f4 with this idea, right?
Yep.
Very good. And black's better in this end game. Nice. Alright, let's talk about ED.
E takes D. Queen takes D. Queen takes D5.
Queen takes D is okay. I think after d4, white's fine. Like this position. And they
Right.
c3. Bishop.
Oh, go back.
Yeah.
I think I know. It is. Was it E4?
Or I think d. Oh, or that arrow I drew. I was gonna say d4, but that arrow, yeah.
Damn, what was it? Knight of 6?
Mm-hmm. So if d4, what happens? It's just gonna be equal after what?
D4, I think we have E4.
No, we don't really want to make that trade, yeah? You just take. d4 is just gonna be equal after just...
Is it just like boring moving back?
Yeah, we just trade, right? And then...
Takes a move.
Yeah, check.
Like,
and we're just castling an 8d5. Yeah. We can play against the isolated pawn.
Yeah.
No, I mean, d4 is not really a serious try for an opening that should have been +1. So, knight takes e5, right?
Yeah. And then...
You got it. This move actually almost doesn't matter between two of them. If you're between two moves, you can say either.
Well, queen takes d5.
Yeah, queen takes d5 is fine. Right, so d4, right?
Yeah.
Or else c3 is very stupid.
Yeah.
Right, they need d4.
Then bishop d6.
So the bishop's not really threatened to being taken right now, actually. Because you can just grab that knight and the pawn could take.
Was castles a thing?
Yeah, castle's a thing. What's my chat is asking what's a passing grade on this test.
Oh.
What do we think?
Probably like a 47.
47. All right, I'll start keeping track. Any bishop move, what do you play?
What would you say is passing? There needs to be a curve on this test.
I'll have to give it to some other people then. We'll see. Any bishop move, what do we got?
Any bishop move here.
Yep. Hint, they're all blunders.
Yeah, they are. Because we have a move called rook e8. Wait, no, queen takes g2. Queen takes g2.
I'll give that to you. Yes, queen takes g2. Yes, everybody blunders queen takes g2. Good. Takes. We're just collecting the pawn, really, right? Bishop e3. We can hit the bishop, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Queen f3. Do you remember this line? Queen f3 is the best move.
Of course. Of course I remember this line. Queen f3.
So far, you're 1 for 1.
We go Do we go rook e8?
No.
Damn it.
I guess the issue is after rook e8, trade, and probably just bishop c4. Maybe some issues on f7 as well.
I don't remember.
Bishop d6. Because after
Oh, that was
trade,
my...
yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. We can't lose our bishop here, right? So
We're
bishop
50%
c4, and now, yeah, we're at 50, we're 1 for 2 now. So what do we got here?
Here we got...
This is the line where we were talking about intermezzos at the end.
Yep, it was with the knight somewhere.
Right.
It was like some check.
Right. Good.
Uh,
How do we get there?
I gotta think about it. It was like if they castle, then there was a check on e2. So we need to go. Is it knight? No.
You need to set it up first.
Yeah. Where's the freaking check on e2?
How do we get this knight to e2? Yes, that is how we should be thinking.
Um. Like I feel like we need to move our.
Need to move away?
We need to move our bishop,
Okay.
right?
I don't know.
I'm terrified.
You gotta just go for it.
I just need the knight on e2 after a castle. That's it.
Give me a move.
Okay, what if we go rook e8? That
No.
loses, right?
Well, at the very least, white. I mean, it's a creative idea. It's a good take, but at the very least, white's just
And
up a
then
pawn.
bishop takes.
Right. But white's just up a pawn. So
Oh,
you already got it wrong. So I'll tell you. So you're 1 for 3. It's bishop e6. Now what?
And now knight f4.
No. I'm sorry. The knight's still here, also. You know what you want to achieve.
Yeah, you have to take the.
You have to take it,
the
you know?
And then you go. Well, no, you can just go knight. Can't you go knight takes c3?
Very good. You're now 2 for 5.
Okay.
Takes, and now your favorite move.
Knight e2.
Knight e2. We did it. We did it. Good.
f6e.
All right.
So you're gonna count knight e2 as 3 for 6, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Fine. 3 for 6. I'm not giving you f takes e6 though. So here. Okay. d4. The Scotch transpositions.
Oh, we take.
Mm-hmm.
And we go knight f6. Are you counting?
Hello, Boogra. Yeah, I'll give you that. 4 for 7. You got 3 in a row.
I don't think we castle. That doesn't happen, right? Is it d5?
Here seems a bit early. I guess just e5 for white? e5, e5?
And then queen
Or maybe
e7.
just, yeah, you know, that might be a good point. Yeah, maybe just trade. Maybe 2, they should be okay. Booger, I'm good. How are you doing? We are currently giving a Busch-Gass Gambit test to CurlyQueen.
Okay, so
It's not
d5 is a
d5.
little early.
4 for 8. It ain't it. What do we got? The difference?
Is it Queen E7 first?
No. It is castles.
Knight F. Knight. It's castles.
Yeah.
I
Because
doubted myself.
what are basically your next two moves now, almost no matter what?
Rook E8.
Rook E8 and
D5.
D5, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this pawn is very, very difficult to protect. For example, here, threatening it, and like D5, this is like a brutal pin and brutal pressure here, right?
Right.
White cannot take this because of this pin. So yeah, I mean, things like this can happen. So rook E8, and often you're winning a pawn, threatening the E4 pawn. So good, it's not a Scotch transposition, like this would be a Scotch transposition, because we're, instead of knight c6, we're casting very quickly and playing rook e8. Right?
Yep.
Cool. So that covers that. Let's talk about knight e5 now.
Knight E5. About that. Knight C6.
Very good. Let's go here. So what are you at this point? We're at like I think you got the last two.
I think we're
So
at
I think we're at 6 for 10, I think, yeah. Yeah, so knight d3 is an option.
6 for 9. 6 for 9 because I was at 4 for 7.
Yeah, but then you got one wrong.
Did I?
Yeah, I think so. I think 6 for 10.
What did I get wrong?
You can improve it though.
Fine, 6 for 10. Bishop goes to. Bishop goes to. Bishop goes to D4.
Let me just say you a c3.
What?
I don't know, they just hit you here.
Yeah. Well, I need to move my bishop somewhere.
Yeah. Alright, Mrs. 6 for 11, it was here.
Is it just bishop B6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, here. Here, I'm going to test you on the hard moves, okay? We're going to skip these.
Thanks.
We are going to skip these. This is going to be the key move. We play rook e8, hitting this pawn. Bishop f3 was the only way to protect it because of the awkward knight. And now this was a hard move.
Was it? This was a hard move.
Or a key move, rather.
Was it D4?
D5, yeah. Yeah, D5.
That's what I said.
Good. Takes. Yeah. And then? You got it?
And now knight D4.
Yeah, very good. Very good. 8 for 13 or 14. I'll give you 13. This is good. D5 and knight D4 is a very, very good knight. Do you remember some ideas in this position?
Do I remember some ideas in this position? Yeah, there's all that stuff on G4, right?
We want to play just like bishop f5, bring the knight to e5, queen h4. Knight d5 is a particularly killer one. Once you've eliminated like this knight, for instance, and then this knight can move over here. So good.
Yep.
Good.
D5 and D4.
Yeah. So that's only against knight d3, which is kind of rare. Knight f3.
Knight F3. When they move back, knight F3, and here did we go D5?
You have to stop d4. You're killing it. You're like 9 for 14.
Oh,
What now?
are you pausing to see what I would do?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a test.
This is a test, but don't overthink it.
Queen H5.
Very good. Right, we have this trick. You got it on your first try, so I'm not going to test you on that. But queen takes d1, right? So we're stopping d4 this way tactically. Right, bishop e2.
And bishop g4.
Very good.
Are you counting this? Because now it's 11 out of something.
Yeah. 11 for 16.
Okay. And what do we have now?
If you get above 90%, I'll give you an A.
47 was the goal.
No, that's a terrible goal. That's just a pass. That's like a D minus. That's like the bare minimum.
Okay, fine.
You got it. You're 11 for 16. Keep going.
Oh, wasn't this the... There was the tactic here. It was like... Oh, it doesn't work here. That was without the bishop home.
Mm-hmm. So what makes sense here after d4?
I feel like bishop d6.
Bishop d6 is playable. Probably an knight b5, or an a4 rather.
Or bishop
Or knight b5.
d4, bishop d4 maybe.
No, I'm sorry. The move here,
No.
as Ergo Proxy correctly wrote, is just castles.
Castles.
Gotta think outside the box. You know? Alright, bishop e3. Yeah, it is. And castles is just what we want to do anyway there. What do we got now?
Nothing is hanging right now.
Yeah, you're 1 for 1. Nicole, you're 11 for 17.
11 for 17.
Yeah.
Not too shabby, not too shabby. Would it be crazy to say F5?
That's very good.
Really?
Yeah.
It's F5?
It's F5.
Okay, cool.
I'm impressed.
And then knight F6.
Very good. Talk to me about this position.
This is great because the pawn is on F5. So
Why is that good?
Protecting the bishop on, it's protecting the bishop on G4 and it's not allowing any bishop G4 check stuff later when the queen is on H3.
What are 2 threats black has in this position? Give me one.
Is knight takes D4 threat?
No, I think it's just defended enough times. They can just take.
Or like 4.
Sorry?
So the F4.
F4. That's it, right? So like, for example,
Yeah.
here or something. F4 with this protected now. Takes and then...
And then knight takes.
Mm-hmm. Both of these are good, so just see here. But yeah, F4, and then we waited for knight F6 because we need to protect this one more time against just take and check, right? Good. Good. F4 is one threat, and the other threat is like bishop d6. Threatening, trying to checkmate here, right?
Yeah.
If h3, we can take it. Otherwise, provoke g3 is always nice. Try and play f4, etc. Rook comes. Good. Very good. I'll put you at 14 for 20. Good. I think I'm being rather generous. You're doing great. So we're currently at 70%. I think I'm pretty generous with that. 70%. We can keep raising that. So bishop g4. Okay. Good. So that's this line pretty much. E5 is one move to remember.
It's D4.
Yeah, it's d4. Good.
You have
15
to give
15
me another one there.
Oh. You're making sure. You're making sure. Okay, 15 for 21. Yes, we need to stop d4 for white, right?
Yep.
Very good. Okay. Thanks for keeping me accountable there. All right, knight takes c6.
Get ready to give me another one. T takes C.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna give you one for that. But I will give you one for
That's
this.
an important theme.
Yeah, but I feel like that was easy.
Okay, I think I need to get that one.
Okay, fine. Well, 16 for 22.
And then make it 17 for 23 after bishop takes f2.
Bishop takes f2 is okay, but there's a better move. In
Bishop
fact, if there's a
isn't.
substantial difference. Actually, yeah, it is fine. Um, it is
I
not my
thought I
chief
told you.
recommendation. This. I actually I put this on the board, but I'm like it's not as good as the other line. But it's fine. I'm not going to deduct for
Oh,
that. Um, Native 6. And if castles,
if castles, then um, knight g4.
very good.
And then is it queen 4?
Queen h4. No, you just lose a piece.
I do.
So, okay, wait, where are we? We're at 17 for
I got 2
23.
correct.
Okay, 17 for 23.
And then I got knight g4 correct.
Right. You're
There
17 for
was one.
23. Focus on the board.
Okay.
H5 is interesting. There is something that just wins right now, though.
Knight takes.
Good.
There's
What's the
something.
point?
Knight takes f7, f2.
What's the point?
And then the point being that there's bishop takes f2 and queen d4.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay, 18 for 24.
18 for
Wait, 18 for
Jules
24.
with the raid. Thank you, Jules. Hey guys.
Hi, Jules.
Jules just did a stream with Will on Friday, so you probably recognize him. But we're learning gambits. This is like the test after learning gambits for now. It's 2.5 hours. Yeah, welcome. I don't know how I'm doing. We're trying
No,
to
Nicole, you're
get
doing great
above.
in the test. You
I'm
are
trying to get
you're,
an A plus.
yeah, 18 for 24 right now, which isn't bad at all. That's
18 for
75%.
24.
Yeah, that's 75%.
I think anything above 85% should be an A.
Okay. You got it.
Did I say 75 or 85?
Yeah, so you need to raise your score by 10 percentage points. But
Yes.
let's do that now. What would you play here? Or like
Okay.
for example after
On D3.
C3, turning D4.
Then I play queen H4.
Very good. And GG. Right? We're threatening here and here. H3.
This is the famous Stafford.
The famous trick here, right? With Bishop G4.
Yes.
Queen takes, we checkmate here.
Very, very difficult.
H takes, we checkmate here. Control the squares. Very good.
Queen H4.
All right, 19 for 25.
24.
No, it was 18 for 24. Now it's 19 for 25.
Fine.
You've been trying to trick me. I feel like I have been tricking even to get to the score. All right, C3. C3 threatens D4.
Yes. E3 threatens C4. We don't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we stop D4? We
Yep.
go. Is there a way to stop D4 here?
If there wasn't, the Busch-Gass would fail.
Shoot, so there is a way to stop D4 here. Oh. Is it knight F6? Or that's what I said I wanted it to be.
Yeah, that's actually what you said last time as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. I wanted it to be after the knight takes e4 stuff.
All right,
Um,
19 for
so
26.
that was
Knight
yeah.
f6. The knight f6 does not stop d4, unfortunately.
Because
Um,
there's bishop
Queen
c3.
h4 does, because this would
Queen
be
h4 stops it.
check, and this is just
Oh
equal.
yeah.
So,
You're right.
threatening mate, threatening here. Queen e2 loses instantly.
Instantly.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bishop g4, right?
Very good. Queen's hit, and cannot hold this anymore. Would have to run away. Right?
Okay.
Good. 20 of 27. Let's talk about Queen f3. This is the mittens line.
Mittens with this
Yep. I beat mittens with
because
this.
you did a thing. Oh. Ready?
Mm.
Queen a6.
Very good. I'll give you 2 for that. That's a very good move. I'll give
Yay.
you're gonna go to 21 of 28. All right.
No,
So still
extra credit.
75%. Yeah, extra credit. So yes, still stopping d4. It's a really nice move, right? That they cannot play d4 still.
Yeah,
Okay, so bishop c4.
beautiful move. Bishop c4. You're trying to mate me. No.
Although as we discussed, it's actually not that maybe not that severe. But yes.
Yeah, so we go
Don't overthink this one.
knight f6.
Yeah, knight f6. Good.
Okay.
22, 29. So castles now defends the bishop. d4 is on the table.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
c4 is about to happen. But we have bishop d6.
Very good. 22 of 30. Right?
Yep.
No, it's not right. I was about to screw you. It was 23 of 30. Bishop d6. Yes, this diagonal, nothing here anymore. D4 is coming, right? And we're threatening mate,
Yep.
so h3.
And now critical move, bishop f4.
Yes, very good. With the idea of
Not allowing d4.
not allowing d4 again, right? And then also we have either bishop g4 coming, which they can't take because queen h2, or even g5 and g4.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was my this is my game against mittens, actually, this position.
And also against CurlyQueen.
Also against CurlyQueen. All right, CurlyQueen, 24 of 31. Sorry,
24 of 31 or out of 30?
31. I already gave you
31.
because I already gave you a bonus. I'm not giving you an additional one.
But you said 23 out of 30. You were like, oh wait, never mind. 23 out of 29.
No, that's just because I was literally wrong when I said it before. I wasn't giving you extra credit. I was just
23 out of 29 means it's 24 out of 30.
no. You were 21 for 28, and then you got the next 2 right, and so you were 23 out of 30, and then you got the one. Oh no, then you got knight f6 and bishop g4, so you're 25 for 32. Yes.
I'll take it.
All right. Well, that is a nice streak we've gotten
Check.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a streak.
Yeah, you're on fire here. Okay. Well, that actually covers c3, d4, and e5. So now we're just on bishop c4.
Is this the last line?
Yes.
Okay.
Although there's
Bishop
lines within it.
C4. I think this one was knight f6.
Very good. 26 of 33.
And then this is where you were attacking me. What was it? Was it d5?
Oh,
It wasn't d5.
sorry.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah, d5 they just take it, and like d4 is coming. I think you're just gonna be down a
What
pawn.
if it's knight takes e4?
No, it's just kind of like symmetrical, but this copycat isn't gonna end well. It's taking here before you, right? Like, for example, bishop
Alright, you can
f7
show me. You can show me now that I already
and
got it
d4.
wrong.
All right, so it is knight c6. You remember this?
Knight c6.
Leaving this hanging.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
This is where the fun begins.
Uh.
26 of 34?
26 of 34. Should I write this down?
No, I got it. I got it. You focus on the board.
All right, fine. Queen e7.
No. With queen.
Bishop takes f2.
Very good. Bishop takes f2. Yeah, with queen e7, you give them an opportunity to escape. We got to strike now.
Yeah.
Bishop f2. All right. Let's talk about king takes. Yeah, very good. Ergo. Bishop f2. Ergo, you are 2 for 3.
Knight takes e4.
Very good. King g1.
That was like the only move.
That was the only move. Good. I'll give you a bonus for remembering that.
Yeah.
So we're at like 28 of 36.
All right, quick maths.
Or maybe
I-
29 of 37. Okay.
I think.
What do we got?
Queen h4.
Queen h4. Very good. Throw in mate here. Okay, queen f3.
What about g3?
Okay, we can start with g3. They're all moves.
I just don't remember what this was. But I'm guessing queen f6.
Yeah, very good. I mean, this is a pretty severe threat. Like coming in there, right? Yeah, the best line was queen e2 to be able to block here. Do you remember this? I'd be impressed. I won't quiz you on this. It's d5. Saves the knight and everything. Threatens to discoordinate here. So gotta take it. Check. Bishop was protected before. This is like I think all the best moves for white, actually. And then we get this position where we're down in exchange, but with a lot of compensation.
Yeah.
Threatening like bishop h3,
Alright, so
some knight move to checkmate. And castling at the very least, we're gonna take that knight. But yeah, lots of compensation here. But I think this is the best white can play. So okay, that's g3, and talk about queen f3.
If queen
Yeah,
f3,
Ergo got it. It was d5.
then- So now we must go. I'm stalling here. Okay. I have two moves in mind.
I'll give you a big hint. It was the same after queen e2 and queen f3.
It was the same after queen e2 and queen f3.
It doesn't matter.
Was
They
it?
have to cover here.
Was it not like rook f8 or castle? Castle.
No, well, you definitely can't castle because there's no pin on a king here, right? In fact, this will be mate next turn.
Oh.
Yeah. So the move here is knight d4. Hit the queen here or here,
That's logical.
right? So they need to stay on the square. Now what?
Yeah, now we go. Well, can we go rook f8 now?
No, because they'll take your knight.
This is their queen e1.
There's bishop f1. Maybe I'm
And
wrong.
rook takes
Yeah.
f7.
So what's the move against rook f8? I know it's wrong. Probably just like here then, right? Because you're in this pin. It's kind of nasty.
Okay, fine.
Move here is knight c2.
Fine. Knight c2. Or, but
Hits
we
the
don't
queen
wanna take
again.
the rook.
Right? Good. Do you remember this?
I swear to God, if it's rook f8 right now, I'm not saying it because I've said it 3 times in a row.
You got this.
I am so annoyed because what if it is? Hmm. All right, can we castle here?
Yes. Nice. 31 to 41. So castles
Okay.
sidesteps this. And what's the point?
Point is we go.
It's actually 31 to 42.
Well, our rook is just on the F file being a killer.
Don't worry, Erico, you got this.
Oh, the move here.
Yeah.
It is.
Check. Stuff's hanging.
I feel like it's D5.
It is D5.
Yeah.
And now, what's our next move? Almost no matter what. Like, for example, if knight takes. Was a blunder.
If knight takes, our next move is knight to D4.
Oh.
Bishop G4.
Very good, Bishop G4. Hit the queen with a... G4 is like the big idea, right? We want to play D5, we want Bishop G4 almost no matter what. And Rook E8. And then the queen will lose the square, actually. If you're white's queen, you cannot hold the E1 square. That's checkmate. Even on Bishop E4, actually, we're playing here. We're playing Rook E8, and then we're coming back to put a lot of pressure here and here. And white's defenses will collapse. Very good, very good, very good. Cool. Yeah, that covers King F2. There's King F1.
There is King F1. I should know this because that's what I
This
played.
is you just we're just looking at this position. There's only one move.
There's only one move here.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one thing that's not ridiculous.
Just Queen E7.
Yeah, I mean, we can't lose our queen. So they take the rook.
And then you go. Knight takes E4.
No, we need the idea of these lines is rapid development. Like we need to get all these pieces in as quickly as possible.
C5.
You know, D5. We're always very happy to lose this pawn. It's in the way. We need to get everything out fast. Okay, I think we're at 33 of 44. 33 of 45. 33 of 45. I think. Okay.
What are we?
I think 33 of 45.
That's a little embarrassing.
That's not that bad.
Sure.
No, but I think that's about right. I think it's also on the generous side.
I don't know. But anyways, it's our turn.
Yeah.
This is all about development too, right? The queen on E1. I think bishop G4.
We need to set up Bishop G4. If Bishop G4 now, there's Bishop E2.
Yeah. Maybe then knight D4.
Yeah, good. Knight D4. Threatening Bishop G4, which would trap the queen.
Yeah.
Good. So for example, C3.
And then now we go bishop G4.
Now we go Bishop G4.
And C6.
C6 is good. Yeah, we're threatening mate, right? If they take this knight. So King F2.
Yeah. Oh my god, there's like 1,000 wins, I feel like.
You got this. You've seen these ideas.
Knight E4.
Yes, brilliant. King G1 only move.
Are you getting points for this?
Yeah, don't worry. Man, you love your points.
I need points. All right, queen c5.
Yeah, I think queen c5 is also winning. We have 6. I think it's clear, but yeah, queen c5. And your threat's just Nf3, and queen's gonna waltz right in there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And if king f1.
King f1. Queen f8.
Brilliant. Boom. What a maneuvery. Yes, yes, yes.
Easy.
Queen f6 here was what I was gonna say maybe for this. H3 check and mate, but I think queen c5 is also winning. Very good. Yeah, I mean, what they just have like nothing here. They went queen a4 just not to lose it, right? Very good. Very good. I will bump you to 38 of 50.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a 5 out of 5 increase. All right. Good. Yeah, with knight d4, we're threatening bishop g4. We've got lots of other ideas, and you demonstrate the patterns very nicely there. So let's talk bishop f7. Last one.
Fine. This is when I started zoning out.
You're zoning out.
Zoning in, sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought I heard.
My words.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
So here, king e7 you don't like because there's bishop b3.
Very good. I'll give you a point just for that. Good. 40 of 52. King f8. Good. Here.
And then d takes c.
Yeah, that was a softball. Okay, bishop b3. Bishop b3 to save the bishop.
Yeah. And maybe I'm struggling here. Bishop g4.
Mm-hmm. Good. Good. Alright, trapping the queen, they only have f3.
And knight takes e5.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You gotta take this one, or else the queen's hanging. Queen h4. Okay, we're gonna come in here unless they play here.
You don't even go knight takes g3 here, you said. Because there was some other move. Which was... Oh, I think it was just bishop f2, right?
Zoning in.
Why not? Oh, yeah, because we just... So queen h3.
Yeah. Oh, it'll transpose to king e2, right?
Yep. And then queen takes g4.
Right. If they just drop their queen, they block their rook, right?
Yeah. And then there was mate in 2 with knight c5. And queen d4.
Yes. Zoning in. Zoning in, Curly. You're killing it. Yes, Curly. Alright. Bishop g4.
There's no way there's more lines in this gas Busch-Gass.
There's no way there's more. Okay. No, I mean that's the most common stuff I could show you. So there's like knight takes c6 and bishop c4, which at least so it gives them one other option here. So instead of f3, they have bishop e2. Takes knight takes e4 check. So I mean this is just super fun stuff because king g1 gets them mated this way, right? King e1, queen's killing them from the other way, and king f1 then from this way. There's just nowhere to hide. Bishop f3, I think just knight g5, and that will collapse. So yeah, I mean they just don't have any, like they don't, if the pawn wasn't there or if their knight was in the game or something to defend it, but they just, yeah, it's like they haven't made a single move on this whole half, as happens. So yeah. Terrible. Okay, I will give you an A minus. That was phenomenal. Great. You killed it down the stretch. That could have been. Yeah. I think you started off colder, but then you got like the most critical lines where it was like, you know, they were taking on f7, sacrificing everything, sparks were flying, but you got it. All right, Nicole, what are your final thoughts on the Busch-Gass Gambit and on
I
what we've
think
gone through
this
today?
is a great Busch-Gass. We love our German friends. It's funny how we were talking about Zwischenzugs and Sitzwang before we found out they're
Yeah, before we
Busch-Gass.
found out they were even German, right?
Yeah, I love this one. I need to go over these lines a
Right.
little more.
I
I
will.
think I want to try this out on Blitz.
Are you a true Gambit Chad?
Well, I need the glasses. I won't be a Gambit Chad.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good answer. I'll drop the link to the Licha study.
So unbelievably
Oops. This is wow. I'm looking back at like so this is like the original video. This is the original Busch-Gass video. It's at 45,000 views now.
Oh,
And yeah, it was like the first video of my channel that I got the Busch-Gass, and it's just like so funny, just like my setup and everything. Like I watch it, it's just funny. It was a little over a year ago now. Oh sorry, I messaged it in my chat. I should message it to you as well. This is the Alicia study. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you
Gambit
guys so
glasses are the
much.
Gambit classes.
That's very good. Oh, I'm gonna have to use that one.
It's not me. It was Hot Plate Harvey. One
Well,
of the
thank
viewers
you.
over here.
All right. Well, next time we'll be back. We'll be playing it on stream. Nicole will be playing it on stream. I'll be
Yeah.
checking in on those games. And of course, I always play it on stream and in till Tuesdays, whatever. Nobody's safe.
Nobody is safe. No, and I've never played in Title Tuesdays before because I'm not titled, but I think I can get titled with the Busch-Gass Gambit.
I think so. I think so.
I
No,
can try
I mean,
it.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see your games with it. We'll collab again for sure.
Well, thank you so much. This was very helpful.
Thank
Chat,
you.
I hope you guys are all Gambiters now. Gambit Chads. Again, make sure to go check out Will's channel over at W Grave.
Yeah, and you guys check out CurlyQueen. No, I'm signing off. The Mets are playing.
Okay. Yeah. Same.
All right.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Peace out, everyone.
See you.
Gambit on.
Bye.
Bye.
Gambit on. Bye.